Good to go.
Put it in the books. Edwin Diaz, another perfect inning, almost a perfect day for Jacob deGrom in one of the most satisfying throw your dick on the table and fucking prove it series I've ever been a part of. I know it's the regular season, but you never get to see a 5-game series. This is as much of a postseason series as you'll ever see in August. The top two teams in the NL East, a 5-game series. And the Mets absolutely shit pumped the Atlanta Braves. I mean, dominated. And I swear to God, if it wasn't for Joey Cora getting a little ahead of himself and sending Yorme, I think we would have come back in that game too, and it could have been a fucking 5-game sweep.
And it goes underrated that we ran up their bullpen, which set us up for the next 2 games.
Destroyed them.
That loss was a win at the end of the day. Yeah.
That comeback actually meant just as much as any of the things we did in the wins. Because the Braves managed that game kind of the same way we had to when we had to pull in Diaz the other night. But the Braves managed that game like it was Game 7, set us up for the weekend. And when you win the first one and you got Jake and Max on the other end, woo, baby, you are
It gets scary. Yep.
Dude, that series from top to bottom, from the offense to the bullpen to the obviously the pitching, but the managing, the hustle, the fundamentals. Not one thing did the Atlanta Braves beat the Mets in this week. And I got to be honest, man, I can't believe I'm saying it, but they're as fraudulent as it gets. I have not been,
and it proves.
I have not been like watching Atlanta games. You know what I mean? I've been looking at the standings, but I don't sit around and watch them as much. Those wins have to almost all be attributed to the schedule because they can't play teams over 500. They're under 500 facing anybody who's above. And you watch this series, it's like these starters stink. These relievers stink. This offense strikes out. They don't have good fundamentals. They're demoting starters in the middle of this whole thing. I mean, I cannot remember a time. I reference this all the time. The 2006 West Coast swing was when I knew the Mets were real. I was nervous, and they went out there. They beat the fuck out of everyone. They came home and never looked back. And that was the time as a Mets fan that I was like, oh, wow, never mind. This team is fucking awesome. I was nervous about Atlanta. We beat them 2 out of 3. I was like, all right, well, good, but they're coming up for a lot more. And then this series, I'm like, dude, we can hang with these guys and pretty much anybody on the fucking planet who has me.
Yep. I mean, the fact that they were 5th in the power rankings after today, it's just they're going to
play. Oh, I didn't even give
Oh, my God. What a game, boys.
Unbelievable, Meek. I was just saying, just outclass them in every fucking way. And I said if it wasn't for Joey Cora getting a little excited, I think we might have come back and finished that. It could have been a 5-game sweep. But everything from top to bottom, dominate. Jacob deGrom, I mean, I thought we were going to face a scenario of like, are we really going to pull him with like 75 pitches in the 7th?
I thought the worst thing was going to happen. It was deGrom would leave with a perfect game after 6 innings.
100%.
All the say like, oh, this is baseball is dead.
Yep.
Look what they're doing. It's like, you know,
I'm almost happy that it happened, so we don't have to hear all that bullshit.
I completely agree.
And we still got 5-6 innings of pure, utter Jacob deGrom. 18 swings and misses on the slider, one foul tip all day on his slider, gassing motherfuckers left and right, two strikeouts per inning. He was Diaz for 5 2/3. Like, it was just dominant for the entire game. And then in what has to be one of the most, I'm like making sure I'm awake and I'm alive. Like, this is Inception. Is this real life? Joely Rodriguez going fucking 2 1/3 with 4 strikeouts.
I thought for sure Medina was going to come in and be like, okay, Medina gets saved. Like, I see Joely on him. I was like, oh, okay, maybe he just leaves him in for Harris, second batter. I'm like, oh, he's letting him get the whole fucking thing now.
Fucking leave him, man. Like, just fucking leave him in there. I can't blame you. That's what's so wild to me about this Atlanta series. Getting to watch them 5 times when you really see, I just said to Paz before you jumped on, it was as close to a postseason series as you'll ever get in August, being 5 games.
We won our World Series this weekend.
Oh, yeah, this is our 4th now, right?
Yeah, four-time World Series champions.
Yeah. Let's go. But getting to see a team that many days in a row, it really did feel like a postseason series where things are usually pretty evenly matched. And I got to say, man, I know they got some MVP candidates. I know they got some firepower. It's when you strike out as much as they do, and we have a lot of strikeout pitchers, not Ty Walker. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But I'm pretty comfortable going up against those guys, even in the tightest of situations, in the biggest of spots. I'm like, okay, all right, Riley's up, sure. Acuna's up, all right, they're great.
Oh,
And
Acuna's up, the one that didn't want to play today because Jacob deGrom was on the mound?
what a fucking pussy he is, bro. Lower body, get the fuck out of here. That was as much of a duck as I've ever seen in my life. This series was fun with like Vogelback. It was a statement with the rest of the team. It put me at ease for like the rest of the year. Like I still, despite how good we were, if I was being honest, I tweeted it today. I was like, man, defending champions and that lineup, I just, maybe the Braves will catch us and we'll be in the wild card, whatever. And now I'm like, bro, fucking driver's seat. 6.5. Let's go. I'm not worried about gauntlets anymore. I'm not worried about the schedule. Still a little bit worried about the bullpen, but not even really, man. You got Trevor May coming back. I know he gave up the home run, but otherwise throwing gas, had some bite on his pitches. I'm feeling more and more confident now that it's like we are the fucking team to beat. Unless you're the Dodgers or the Astros, I'm not intimidated by fucking anybody.
And Braves fans kept talking, since June 1st this, since June 1st that. No, we're using a month sample. Since July 1st, we're fucking 3 games better than you guys.
Yeah, dude. The Braves fans, as we have learned, they love to cherry pick. They love to just talk about luck.
Oh, come about how lucky we are.
Everything's luck. Good luck for the Mets. Bad luck for the Braves. Well, fellas, we're like 110 games in or whatever. It's not luck anymore. It's what it is, dude. And I swear, I'll tell you, man, I was on the other side of it, and I only did it for fucking 5 games. But I ran my mouth about contact and how it all runs out eventually and how it's so lucky. And I'm not saying it's not infuriating, because I know it is. But I'm telling you now, it doesn't just poof, disappear. And you know what does? Home runs, the long ball. You can go on a 2-week cold streak in the middle of October. It doesn't matter how good you are, you're fucking done. You know what just seems to happen forever? Infield singles, bloops off the plate, like little hustle plays that they just do every single night, day in and day out. They'll hang 8 runs on you without hitting a single home run. They had like 1 extra base hit, and they just fucking kill you death by 1,000 base hits.
It's just incredible.
It was really, I can't, aside from a 5-game sweep, which I don't know of anybody out there.
I don't know, if Taijuan Walker has a half-decent start Friday, it probably is a 5-game sweep. I'm not going to hold on to that. 4-5 versus the Braves who never lose. I mean.
Right. And honestly, the difference in 4.5 and 6.5, enormous. Absolutely enormous. And I heard for months that it was the Braves were coming and it's only a matter of time. Well, you had your shot, I guess theoretically you could have said you had us on the ropes when it went from 10.5 to like 2.5 real quick. I think did it ever get to half a game or was it always
got to exactly a half a game?
Sorry, fellas. Sorry, guys.
Second game after the All-Star break.
So,
and then Daniel Vogelback entered the lineup.
And then we got Sexy back, who is in a quick, 13 games or something, 14 games, one of the most impactful players of all time. We'll talk a little deadline in a little bit. I still think Epler needed to address the pen, but other than that, he is whipping his dick out and throwing it on the table, and everybody should be apologizing to him too, because the bats, they're at least for right now. We'll see how long it lasts, but those guys are all mashing. They've all come through. It also allows Buck to play a lot of chess. He's instantly, turning guys around on the plate or forcing you to use your bullpen. And he's right there. He is. There's the big man. Clem, can you remember a series? I said the 2006 West Coast swing, which I always love to reference. I can't remember another series, though, that was as much of a like, all right, boys, this is it. Measuring stick game, whatever you want to call it, like throw your dick on the table, and we've dominated it. I can't think of another series that was like that much of a telltale series where it's like, oh no, we are the class of this division.
You're talking about this division? You're talking about this? I thought you were talking about like the Astros series. This was
no, just in general.
No,
I'm talking like forever, like a Mets team that it was like, all right, we have the big series coming up. Let's see who's the real deal, and we just fucking annihilated them.
Yeah, no, Kevin, this was not a big series. I was told this was my World Series. I was told that I said it last night. I am no longer going to celebrate series wins over the Braves. I'm not going to celebrate against the Phillies. Yeah. All we do is we have not lost an NL East series the entire year. The only team that is who's even close to competing with us right now is the Houston Astros and the San Diego Padres. Everyone else looks like a bunch of fucking bums compared to us. That's true. Listen, this is not Clem saying this. This is everyone else has been telling me. I was told that when they swept the Yankees, that was our World Series. I was told when they beat the Braves, that was our World Series. I was told when we kicked the shit out of them in a doubleheader yesterday, Jacob deGrom had a perfect fucking game going through almost 6 innings. I can't get up for these games. I'm not doing it, Braves fans. I'm done. You're right. You win. White flag is being waved. You guys are not big enough for me to care about right now in the regular season. Playoffs, we'll see. But you know what? You guys are right. You win. I lose. You're smart. I'm dumb. You guys are not worthy of me getting excited about regular season baseball. You win. Tap
now,
out.
You know what, Clem? You're a man of honor. I am over here. I'm celebrating my 5th World Series. I don't care. I don't care.
Tom Brady.
I got rings on rings on rings. Yeah. Guess what? It's my World Series every fucking time, and every time I win. Sure, whatever, man. It doesn't matter what you want to call it, bro. It is. I'm at the point where I'm like, I don't know. Every step of the way, this team's different, right? And I don't think I have every step of the way. It's been like inching my way towards 100% confidence. And unless the Braves really are just frauds, because I said it earlier before you joined. Like
what good teams are they beating? That's literally it. They made fun of us for saying, the schedule's the reason for the 14-game winning streak. Since that 14-game winning streak, we've gained ground on them.
Yo, they really can't play good teams. That's just a fact.
So Kevin, the NL East race is heating up right now. The Phillies are only 3 games behind the Atlanta Braves for second place. To look at our asshole directly right in the standings right now.
And I said, you know what? All year long, we've been talking about which gauntlet we got to go through and which teams on the schedules next. I don't give a fuck what the schedule says anymore. I don't care who it is. I don't care who we're facing. I have supreme confidence that they'll go toe-to-toe with absolutely anybody and everybody. It's, the bullpen, if you're going to have Joely Rodriguez striking motherfuckers out left and right, and Trevor May throwing, high 90s, and, those guys are going to come through as much as we
Jelly legs! Jelly fucking legs out of the goddamn blue. Who saw that? I'm telling you. Fuck it. I'm doing it.
Epler mode?
My guy.
He gave it to him. He did it to him. Epler mode engaged. He did it to him.
Did Epler is he injecting Joely with fucking steroids? I don't care. I don't want to know. He fucking saw the writing on the wall. He goes, this guy is going to get fixed. I don't know what kind of voodoo he picked up from his time with the Yankees.
Steroids.
Did he teach him a cut? Yeah, it's steroids. Teach him a cutter like Rivera, right? No, he just threw nothing but changeups. That's the thing. It's like batting Eduardo Escobar from the right-hand side. Throw nothing but changeup, Joely Rodriguez.
If that guy is going to be a contributor, I saw Medina warming up. I have supreme confidence in Medina. I think he's got great stuff. I think that we put him in some of the toughest spots of the year, and he always responded. So I'm all about him. But if I don't think you're ready for this jelly. If he's going to be ready like that, all the rest of the way, and you have Medina, and maybe Michael Givens, figure some things out, and you have May in the mix, and McGill comes back. You got Trevor Williams for long situations, and then of course at the end, at the back, my trumpet should be here. By the way,
closer.
There he is.
That's closer deGrom. We're gonna either call him closer deGrom or Jake is starter
Diaz. He does. I said that before. He does what Diaz does for 5 straight innings. It's nothing. He just nothing but strikeouts. It's insane.
Kyle's in fucking Epler mode too. I love it.
Yeah. Yo, I mean, we'll see what happens with the bullpen, but I said how
you guys have been on here for 15 minutes.
Oh, poor Kyle.
Oh, my shit's all fucked up. Sorry. You got me?
Kyle's frozen right now. Kyle's
All right.
frozen right now.
I was saying how nice for Billy Epler to be like immediately vindicated. Like, well, the bullpen, yes, that remains to be seen. But everybody's picking up multi-home run game. You got Vogelback, his fucking Babe Ruth out there. Darren Ruff's doing his thing from his side of the plate. It's like, chill, you fucking morons. And hand up. As always, I like to be wrong. I'm sorry, Billy. I'm sorry.
Listen, anytime you say anything nice about Billy Epler, too, immediately it's like, but what about the bullpen? It's like
left-handed pitcher.
Yeah.
Left-handed bad guy.
It's like picking up like cornerbacks in the NFL. It's like if they were good, they'd be a receiver. If they were good, they'd be a starter. And it's like you're gonna just try to see what works. Maybe a strike goal with a couple of guys here and there. We have like prime Deion Sanders closing for us, and then we just need to figure out the rest. But yeah, other than that, you want to talk about not ready for this jelly? The Vogel bus was fucking moving today, boys. We got our moment.
Dude.
We got our Vogelback moment.
It was just boom, 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 boom. I mean, that man was a locomotive. If there was a play at the plate of any sort back, like, let's say it was an old school play at the plate, he could have killed a man.
I said, thank God. I think it was Swanson put that in his pocket because if he threw it home, Contreras and fucking Darno's in a walking boot. Contreras would have just been like a scene from The Boys where he just splattered guts everywhere, just blood, guts, and fucking brain fragments is all that'd be left. It would just be his and Wilson Contreras, he has like all the gear of Ronald Acuna, but without Ronald Acuna's numbers. It drives me crazy. I'm like, you're not fucking that swaggy yet, man. You're gonna be awesome. I have no doubt in my mind he's gonna be awesome. But all we'd have is like two little yellow cleats and just where his body used to be before Vogelback. Did you see my guy? The typical fat guy move. He had the tongue in the side of his mouth rounding third. You go like this, and then his batting helmet hit the ejector button. He's like, I'm out of here, and he just fucking popped it off and was like, I am done with this shit, man. It was
Actually, let me check my messages right now because we do have a tentative agreement that Bogey will come on the show this week. So I'm hoping to get that locked down. So we'll see. But the idea was Thursday. So we might get a chance in the flesh too, in the office. We'll see if it actually comes true. I don't hold my breath because obviously they're in the middle of the fucking season. But if we get Bogey in here, man, and we can chop it up with him, and I mean, he is as quickly as I've ever seen someone become a fan favorite is this man. He's earned it, but it's been boom, instantaneous.
I'm trying to pull up the actual highlight here so people on the YouTube can see it.
Him running around the bases.
I saw my man Taylor Ringwald over at WFAN. He tweeted, if this man can go first to home, like anybody on the planet Earth can, like no excuses anymore. My man has, I've been telling you guys, he has wheels.
So Kevin,
relatively speaking, pound for pound, he's got wheels.
I made this comparison. I think it was on Friday night. He is, and anyone who's worth their salt knows this comparison. He's Bowser. He's Donkey Kong playing Mario Kart. You just got to get them to that top speed, and once they're there, they're cruising.
They're going downhill.
A slow startup. Exactly.
Yeah. It truly is. It's an old school locomotive. It's that, and the wheels are going slow, and by the end of it, the fucking smoke is coming out of the top, and you're going top speed. Look, he's a beautiful son of a bitch. I absolutely love him. You know what? I think it's very apropos that we're saying sexy back because it is like we all fell in love with Bartolo so much. And we've had, we all love Pete. We all love Lindor, these great players. We haven't quite had like a fan favorite really like this since Bartolo. So it really is like sexy back. We get to go through it again because there's just something so unbelievably endearing about a guy who's a little bit bigger, who is just an expert at his craft, which is just mashing from one side of the plate. And to all do that, but have a good eye and not just be like, yeah, I strike out and I mash. Like he is this little perfect fat enigma. And the Mets fans always know a crafty plus size athlete is the guy to root for. Like the whole league had Bartolo Colon and no fan base ever embraced him the way we did. A bunch of guys, 4 different teams have had the chance with Vogie. Nobody ever latched onto him the way we did. We know the real deal. We know a good thing when we see it, and this guy is it.
Yeah, that's the perfect way. I was going to say, I almost put it in my blog. I was going to say, we turned Bartolo Colon from like a good, sturdy pitcher who had a Cy Young and like a good pitcher, and then like definitely did some shady shit to get back on the mound, obviously, whatever. And we turned him into like a beloved internet meme, basically. And then remember, he went to the Braves and they tried to like recreate the magic and it sucked. And he went to a couple other teams and it just fell flat. There's something like that is us. That is us Mets fans right there.
That's the good Mets fans.
Yes.
What you're seeing right now that we're on this win streak and beating the fuck out of people, is a lot less complaining. And the good side of the Mets come out where we realize, did you see the guy who, said, if I get 4,000 likes, my wife will let her come out to Blaster Jacks? He had like 8,000 likes in like an hour. Like, this is when Mets Twitter comes out in force in a good way, it's one of the most powerful things in the world, and Vogelback is on that wave right now, like king of the fucking world. We need a Leo meme of him out like king of the world on top of the fucking Titanic. Hey, holy moly, he's awesome.
So there's a tweet from Rich McLeod. He tweeted out, the Braves postgame show is citing exit velocity and is crying about the Mets' lucky hits after with their dumbass teams for about 19 times.
I thought
their official postgame's crying about this shit.
I always see it through you because I don't even bother following or looking at those hillbillies on Twitter. But I always see you retweeting it or being tongue-in-cheek about the lucky thing. But I thought that was just fans on Twitter. They're official fucking announcers and like on the television they're talking about this?
Yes, I'm asking people to find footage of it, but there's a tweet. I'll send it in our chat.
I mean, and what was the exact stat? Something about 19 what?
We struck them out 19 times.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Tough shit. You're not going to get a hit if you can't put the ball in play, jackass.
Yeah, you had a couple hard hits for your other 8 outs. The other fucking, everything else, you were sitting down. That is, at what point do you – you have to realize you just sound like fucking jackasses. You're 100 and whatever games in, and we're only getting better. Also, for every couple – infield singles or whatever, which by the way, we earn because we're athletic as shit, some of our guys, and fast as fuck down the line. There's also like hard hit, well struck balls that, fucking Lindor blasting off the top of the wall, Pete hitting bombs, obviously Vogelback. We're not like some rinky dink club either. Our forte is not home run hitting, but it's not like we don't hit the ball hard either. That is, man up, you fucking loser hillbillies. Give me a fucking break.
Eric Kimball has a big exit velocity, too. That's why we kept him around for so long. And then we looked at the stats and we're like, yeah, he's smashing the ball directly into the ground. That's why we kept him around. Exit velocity is what you look at as an excuse after the fact. The only other time you're looking at it is because Pete crushed the ball that was shoulder high through the wall, and you're like, holy shit, that's 160 miles an hour. That's
to me, it's like a fun stat almost. It's like once you know what your team is, obviously it can be very predictive and it can help. But when you're 32 games above 500, 6.5 up on the defending champs, who gives a fuck about individual exit velocity for a couple at bats here and there? You guys are fucking pathetic.
It's whipped cream. The ice cream sundae. The ice cream is what fucking makes that thing, but the whipped cream on top is a nice exit velocity to make it look pretty. And I don't give a fuck. I'm still eating my ice cream. I don't give a shit about that. I can't, I've seen all the Brave stuff. I just wish Mets fans, and I know they're doing it a lot. When it's trolling, it's cool. I have no problem with trolling. But when they're in these battles and they're quote retweeting these fucking hillbilly morons with these exit velocity XBAs, you're just doing what they want you to do, and they're going to get your goat. Don't worry about it, because I am done listening to Braves fans and apparently the announcers complain about luck and exit velocity when all our team does is just hit the ball and play, and they can't do the most basic fundamental baseball plays. Keith is going to start throwing up mid-game because the fundies, you have fucking Michael Harris running back for a ball that's landing behind second base. What are we doing here, Braves fans? You're better than we've fought our whole lives. We've been fighting Yankees fans. We've been fighting Phillies fans. And then we have these fucking morons from the South. It's not even a matchup with us right now.
No, it really isn't.
This whole time I thought I built them up in my head. The Braves franchise, class. I'm not classy, but they just pull up 3 guys who grew up in Georgia and they'll throw 102 miles per hour, have a 2.5 ERA, or hit 40 bombs a year, and then they'll sign them for $60. But the fans, It's just sad right now.
No, it
man.
really is. And I mean, we've always known that. This is the fan base that back in the day, wouldn't sell out playoff games. This is the fan base that never really showed up. They're not, they're not going to be like the witty, funny, good banter and funny trolling. It's just, pick a stat and cry about it. I'll tell you what, when you said I'm done listening to their announcers, you barely even need to. If you listen to the highlights of us going back to back on them, did you hear the announcers from Atlanta when Pete and Vogelback went back to back? They barely say any words.
Oh, Chip Carey, yeah,
Chip Carey. Well struck. Silence for 30 seconds. The next pitch, another well struck ball. I love it. And the people who are complaining about be professional. That's too homer. No. I love it. Be as much of a homer as you want, and let me know how deep that is just going right in your fucking heart. I want to know how much it hurts, because man, was that satisfying. From the social media to the announcers box to the fucking the post game guys.
The fucking blooper.
Everybody's just crying. I love it. And that it's like, I get it. It's the Mets. We have a history, but it makes it that much sweeter when it's like, the Mets absolutely throat fucked you losers.
By the way, since Austin Riley went into his, hey, we're coming for you. Ever since he said that, we're coming for them. The Mets are 12-2. The Braves are 6-8. So you want to talk about someone just putting their foot directly in their fucking mouth. Austin Riley. I mean, he does everything else. He kills us everywhere else. Except
I swear this may be the first series we played the Braves where Austin Riley didn't homer. Yeah. I didn't even realize that until just now.
Honestly, I can't. I mean, there was nobody this series by the fifth game that I was like, oh no. Like the way I felt when Soto comes up when he was on the Nats, or I'm trying to think of even who's been a real good Schwarber on the Phillies, where I'm like, this guy can't possibly be up again. It's like his seventh at bat today, by the fifth game of the series, I was like, I don't think it matters who it is. They're probably going to strike out again.
I'm not worried about
it. Was in the first two innings of the second game. After that, it's really pretty meh.
Whatever, man. Yeah, I mean, it was absolute, utter domination. So I guess, enough about Atlanta. Forget about them. I guess we do have to switch gears, start worrying about Philly a little bit, because Atlanta's going to do what they do. They just beat up on shitty teams, and Lord knows there's enough shitty teams to compile, 90-something whatever wins. So they'll be there, no doubt. But come postseason when you got to play real teams, and also, I didn't know this until this series, but the day game kryptonite, the complete polar opposite of Superman with the yellow sun. You put those guys out there in the day, and they're absolute garbage. So forget about Atlanta. I got a question: which start were you more impressed with, or enamored with, or just like holy fucking shit with, Max or Jake?
I mean, I think it has to be Jake. I was thinking perfect fucking game at one point.
I know. It was like brilliance on behalf of Jake, but the fact that Max struck out the side to finish his night was like, to me, it was, I just love the fucking shit out of guys who do what they get paid to do. And that could mean the guy who gets like $500K a year to be like a pinch runner and does a good job there. But when it's Max Scherzer for $40 million and we brought you here for this start and you go and you shove like he did to set up Jake, it's like...
Not only that, Max knew the bullpen situation and he's like, I got to go deep into this game or we'll have no chance of winning. He goes 7 innings.
He did it. Like, that's what I mean. It was like pure, and then to finish stronger than he did, like it's not like he limped his way through it. I guess it's two different levels of it. It's like for Jake to come back and be cruising to almost a perfect start, striking everybody out. It looks so pretty when he does it. It really was like brilliance, like you're watching excellence. Whereas Max is just like guts. Obviously, it's talent too, but just pure fucking like crazy man. Dual-eyed freak show, I'm gonna fuck your mother type shit. I love them so much. The stats they put up, the numbers they're putting up, it's Schilling and Johnson, and we just got to get there. We just got to get to the World Series. That's all we got to do.
This is a great baseball team before DeGrom comes back, and now you're going to have a healthy, stretched-out DeGrom come October. It is an actual nightmare to anyone who thinks that they have like a good, legitimate chance of winning. Because if they run into the team at the right time or the wrong time for us, they're screwed.
Until we prove otherwise, obviously, the Astros and the Padres, have our number, and we don't even play Padres anymore, right?
No more Padres, no Dodgers, no Giants.
So we'll see you in the fucking playoffs. Maybe we won't. And obviously that's like the last thing that we need to prove. But to me, otherwise, it's like exactly what this team is. Fucking great is what they are. A little bit of a question mark with the bullpen, but also at this point, I'm also like not more so than anybody else. You look at the Yankees bullpen start to fall apart. Right around now is when guys, who maybe haven't pitched full seasons start to run out of gas. With having Diaz, it still puts me way more comfortable in a ball game late innings than 90% of other teams out there. And if you can just throw a hodgepodge together, Ottavino, Lugo, May, potentially McGill, Givens, Medina, and apparently now Jelly Legs, that's a lot of fucking guys that, like, at some point that combination is going to get you some outs. It's just, can you get them before, the ball flies out of the park? We can talk about this, the coveted left-handed pitcher that Epler failed to get. But at this point, I think we're nitpicking. This team is fucking unbelievable, man.
Kevin, this is what this team is. This is probably the best team we've ever seen.
Never watched.
I honestly think by the time the season's over, we've now passed the 06 Mets in the run differential shit. I think we're going to pass them on wins. And again, that lineup was absolutely disgusting, but the pitching staff doesn't hold a candle to this.
Not even close.
Billy Wagner is not Edwin Diaz.
No, I think the offense is much closer than the pitching offenses are not. They're comparable. They're different, but they're both are prolific. They both score a lot of runs in different ways. And the starting pitching is absolutely night and day. And Diaz is night and day. I mean, it's wild, dude. They are. And I don't even know anymore. I love it. You know how good they are? This is how good they are. I'm not even fighting anybody anymore about be positive, support the team. Don't be one of those fans. They're either all gone. They've either all been converted. They're all gone and given up, or they're all facing a 4-month ban because their coworker continually ran circles around them with
He said we were going to get swept this series. Like and listen, I love Frank. And this isn't like this bet stuff was more just to be like, dude, like you're being silly now. Let's bet. All right, we'll bet. And to be his honor, he's bet it. He lost it. He honors the bet. This was for all the Frank was right people who was saying Frank was right, Clem was wrong, KFC was wrong about shit. We were saying we're like, oh, this team's only 4 games up last year, but somehow we're still in it. And we were just rooting for our team. You, Frank, was right, people. You did this to him. You did this to your God.
Right.
You did this to him. And I have him in my pocket right now. And when I want him to talk, I say, here, little mouse, talk to me. I say, let's talk to me. And he says, and so last night he was going crazy with Michael Givens. And then I just wrote books and I give him the kissy emoji. And then today I wrote jelly legs to him. And I'm just having he has this little Frank. I would love to see what the Frank's Army was talking about today during this game.
So the people don't know, there's like a 60-person private DM group.
They made a community now, I think.
Oh, they're public now?
It's 4chan. It's Mets 4chan is what he created.
But they have 700-person community of just Frank's Army.
4chan.
It is some dark shit. That shit is just like the darkest corner of the internet, which is the darkest corner of the world.
Dude, that is and also just to be fair, if you guys want your boy back on Twitter, all you got to do is Venmo Clem $1 million.
Yep,
that's the price now, right?
At the Clem report. At the Clem report.
It started at 100,000. We quadrupled down. It's now $1 million bounty. If you really want to see Frank the Tank's tweets that much, so put your money where your mouth is, you fucking morons.
That's pretty much just towards Dave at this point. Dave is the only person that could actually make that happen, and I wouldn't put it past him if he was in the right spot. He's like, the content out of it might be worth it. The way Dave makes his hires sometimes, I don't know. And Phil just tweeted this one to the group. DeComo. If the Mets play 396 ball the rest of the way, they'll finish with their best record since 2006. That is jaw-dropping stat. Kevin's jaw dropped.
396 is, usually it's like if we play 500. Because that, it's not going to happen, but that could happen. A team, I don't know, like a team, maybe gets off to a really hot start and people start to compare them to like, I don't know, a season like maybe 1998 or something like that. And then all of a sudden they just kind of like level out and play like 500 ball. That could happen.
Kind of like what the Yankees have done for the
maybe, yeah, just like that. Maybe just like the Yankees.
The Yankees that we have the same record as?
Dude, I cannot believe that all of this is happening right as they are crumbling as well. I mean, they're having meltdowns left and right. The fact that Montgomery pitched against them and they won and their bullpen stinks now and everything's falling apart. It's just, that's the whipped cream. I guess the cherry.
That's the cherry on top.
Yeah, because it's like, people are always, when they say to me like, I can't believe you even care, it's not in your division. And it's like, you know what, you're right. It doesn't matter. Like beating the Braves mattered 1,000 times more, but it's a nice little, it's the little drizzle on the dessert on the plate afterwards. It's
sprinkles.
The little,
I like the sprinkles. I'm a sprinkle guy.
Sprinkle guy, whatever. Little accoutrements that kind of make it that much better. It is, everything coming up Mets right now. And again, none of it's like, I don't feel like, well, we're going to come back down to earth because of blah. Like nobody's playing out of their minds. Everyone's just like doing what they do. It's just a really fucking give me Epler mode. Give me one more time. It's just a really fucking well constructed team, like top to bottom. And they're just gonna keep, God willing, with injuries. You always got to worry about that. But I don't think it's like the regression or whatever. It's just this is what they do. This is how they fucking do it.
When Nimmo gets up, he leads off the game, 10 pitches right off the bat. 3-2 count, gets on base, doesn't get on base, whatever. And then if he gets on base, Marte's up. You're like, all right, well, we're not going into a double play here. And then it's just, we're off to the races every single time.
The machine just fucking rolls. And then, and I saw the stat earlier. I might have quote tweeted it. It's a Lindor number. Like since he's gotten hot, they're like 15-2 or whatever. Like I remember they used to always say, as Reyes goes, the Mets go. Back in 06, whenever Reyes was hot, the offense was hot and the Mets won. It's Lindor and Pete. And when they are crushing, I mean, of course, everyone else is contributing, but when Lindor and Pete are just mashing, the team doesn't lose. They are as like rock steady as it gets with driving in runs. And I don't see that really stopping. Like as long as we don't have any broken hands, like Lindor did, I think he's just having a fucking unbelievable season. And Pete is just, he's more, he's not just a slugger. He's so clutch. He's a real hitter. And when you surround that with Marte and Nimmo and Canna, and you got McNeil batting like fucking 8th, you got Vogelback ready to hit moonshots. It in a lot of ways it almost is 2006-esque.
It's better. It's fucking better than it.
Every fucking guy. It's not it's not like everybody hitting 30 home runs, but it's like every fucking guy is gonna do their damn job.
Nito last night too. He got that whole rally started when RIP in peace Max Fried, who died tragically 2 plays later, or whatever the fuck that was about.
Can we just talk about that real quick? Real quick side note: there has never been a bigger, oh my God, I just embarrassed myself. Let me pretend that I'm injured for about 5 minutes so that the crowd pities me instead of makes fun of me, and then I go back to my job. Braves fans being like, have some class. This is no sportsmanship. It's like, dude, he banged his head on the grass for a second, being a total spaz. He's absolutely fine. Shut the fuck up, acting like, I was making fun of a gunshot victim. Anyway, back to what we were saying.
Yeah. I mean, I think everyone has had their experiences with Braves fans. I know Big Cat was going through it because he, dared bet the Mets, all that kind of shit. I almost expect like it's almost human nature. Tomorrow or whenever there'll be a letdown, there might be a game where you don't score. It's like this took a lot out of him, 4 or 5. Everyone was all hands on deck. But I know the ship will be righted because I know Buck will make sure everyone has their head right. He's been in this spot before in his 10 different places he's managed and won managerial all of them, and he's gonna fucking win a challenge that'll change the entire complexion every time. He's unbelievable. And then anytime he loses, it's on some crazy small little nugget or it's just the wrong call. Like today, Gary was ready to lose his fucking mind in that first inning tonight. You can tell Gary wanted to, when Gary wants to
freaking out today.
Yeah, he was freaking out.
He was getting his emotion on. Like even he was excited about Jake. He was just a fan today.
Yeah, it was nice it's nice to see when when Keith's excited, that's like the uncle that's too cool or is just kind of in the corner. But when he's showing like a little smile, like, oh shit, he's happy right now.
Yeah,
stuff like Keith,
knows something special's going on right now, baby. Yep. Yeah, it's just like from top to bottom, the machine keeps fucking rolling, dude.
There was a guy at Barstool at the ballpark. He was wearing the 96er shirt, and I was like, you know what? That's starting to look like a cupcake bet. Like 96.
Yo, 96,
that was a steal.
96 will be disappointing.
Oh yeah, definitely
disappointing. Like and triple digits or bust, boys. At this point, I need that. I need that hundo, man. I need that. They haven't won 100 since like the 80s, right? They never won. It was like 98 and 97 when we went like the high water mark.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure 100 and whatever is 86. They never won 100 after that.
Yeah, everything's been
90s. Comparison to last year's team that won 77, we can get to that within a week.
Crazy, man. Absolutely nuts. And you're right that like these are one of those series where you blow your load. Everybody was all hands on deck. But we get the Reds next, right? Which is, as much of a baseball, that's baseball, Susan. It's a stupid sport where you can't really look past anybody. But if there was ever a nice little soft landing spot for after this series, it's Cincinnati at home. So maybe you can, give some guys some rests and go with some long relief and whatever else you want to do there, because if they're playing like this against them, it's going to be a fucking bloodbath.
88 was the last time we won 100. 26 and 27, the Mets have to go to win 96 games right now. So it would be under 500 just to push the bet. And I think the bet was over 95 and a half. So the 96 that's a disaster if we go 26 and 27 with our September schedule, especially.
Now that it is, like you said, disaster scenario to even hit your infamous 96er bet. Now that we're in the trust tree, we can be honest. When you were thumping your chest for 96er this year before we knew what this team really was, did you really, really mean it? Did you think it? Or were you like, we're going out on a limb here. I got to do it for a little bit of content. I got to do it for the sports book. I think we can. Or were you like, this team can win 96?
I thought it the whole time. I will say, I will gladly admit it, because I think I said it in the stream, the preseason, like the opening day stream or whatever. When Jake went down, I was like, well, shit. That was the biggest thing. But then it's like, I didn't know Peterson and McGill were just going to basically give us Jake starts for like 7 innings, 1 run. It's like Jake would do that, and the offense showed up for those guys where they would never show up for Jake. Yeah. And that was the nice thing about today. Jake actually got a little bit of run support, and I was like, don't tell me the bullpen's going to be the time that fucks him, because those are usually the two culprits.
That would have been a nightmare. Yeah,
but I did believe it. I wasn't like, I didn't think this though. I thought 96 we'd be pulling into the driveway, 96, 97. Yeah. And in the words of, I believe, Mike Francesa, when you win 100, that's a special season.
That's a special 100
games.
I mean, I think after Jake went down, I think I said like 86 or something like that. There's a chance we might finish 20 games ahead of it, like 20 more wins. I mean, that's a fucking that is crazy that this team battled through the injuries they did and never missed a beat, never complained, no bad luck, none of that bullshit. We made our own. You know what? Fuck it. Do we have calls?
Yeah, we got some calls here, and the calls, we're going to lead it off in a minute. I'm going to tweet the link out. Actually, let me send it right now to our guy. We're going to have Castellani on. I just sent him the link first so we can get him in the room. He is the unofficial New York Mets fan, just like Coors Light is the unofficial beer of everything and the unofficial beer of the Unofficial Mets podcast. We got to believe summer's full of all this crazy stuff. We have our baseball games, our barbecues, our graduation parties. At this point, graduation parties, feel like it's probably about time to go back to school. You're ever going away to college parties, all that good stuff. And when you're going to do that, you have to get your Coors Light at your parties with your family. Summer chill starts with Coors Light, so make the most of your summer with a chance to win exclusive chill merch, fun local experiences, even a trip to New York, Chicago, or Los Angeles. Enter to win at CoorsLight.com/believe. Maybe we'll just have Castellani come out here to New York by winning this contest. So we'll have Chris enter CoorsLight.com/believe. No purchase necessary. Sweepstakes ends August 15, 2022. Game ends September 6, 2022. All 50 U.S. states and Washington, D.C. 21 or older only. 21 or older only. Void where prohibited. For rules, visit CoorsLightSummer.com. We were drinking our Coors Light all night at Barstool at the ballpark. It was beautiful, and we'll be drinking it at the parade. I've said it. I told you 96 wins. I told you we are clinching at the next Barstool, the ballpark. And I told you November 2nd, cake, punch, Coors Light at the parade. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. So we're going to get into some Mets balls now.
That is Clem Stradamus speaking. He is back in action. He's back on his ways. There he is. There he is. What's up, kiddo?
What's going on, boys? Nice to talk to you. Nice to see the vibes are high.
What's like? You're on the bandwagon now, right? You're officially joining.
Yeah, I'm there.
How does this register for a fan like you who's jumping on?
Well, it's a fun team, Kevin. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's the juxtaposition, man, because the Tigers had a 0-0 game with 2 outs in the top of the 9th today at home and lost 7-0.
I shouldn't laugh. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. No,
I remember those games though.
I switched you guys, and it's first of all, I mean, you're hitting lightning in a bottle right now. You bring up the Schilling Johnson comparison with what Max is doing. Max Scherzer, and having watched him in Detroit, is so much better in his 30s than he was in his 20s.
Crazy, right?
He's like, we talk about Verlander with the longevity. Scherzer's 38. Like he's not a young guy. He is he's better than he was in Detroit. He's every bit as good as he was in Washington. And you guys have covered so much of it. Just a few things I want to bring up. You know, it was a moment in this game because Kevin, you always bring up the little things in baseball like that you love.
Yeah.
I think it was the 5th inning. McNeil, I believe, led off with a base hit. And Robbie Grossman playing in right field because Acuna had the back injury. And having been a Detroit guy for forever, I see Robbie Grossman playing right. He tests him. Single turns into a double. Next guy, I think it was Nito, fly ball right field. He tests Grossman again, goes to third. That's quiet fuck you energy to me. Like, you could have thrown me out, bitch, but you didn't. Yeah. And then 4 pitches later, wild pitch, he scores. Like it's those little things like in a baseball game that are the difference between a good team, an average team, and a great team.
But that's where fucking these hillbillies will throw out luck. And it's like, no. We made that luck by hustling, by being athletic, by being a fast team, by putting the ball in play, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. These are not just, by chance we happen to score on a wild pitch. That was set up by good baseball.
And people like I heard you guys talking about the Braves and like the exit velo argument. I think what gets lost in that is exit velocity is a thing that over an entire season plays out. You know what I mean? Like a guy with a high average exit velocity is going to most likely end up having a really good season. But if we're breaking it down throughout a series, throughout a month, throughout several weeks, who gives a shit? Like I mean, like really, I don't think that like Luis Gonzalez is apologizing for the 0-1 like World Series walk-off because it was because it was a jam job. Yeah.
Also, by the way, if you're ever talking about like average exit velocity, where it's like, sometimes you're gonna like barely touch the ball because baseball's stupid. You miss by that matter of an inch, and it's a lazy little pop-up. But the next one you park. And that average is going to be all like wacky because of that. It's a strange, because it's a round ball and a round bat and a stupid sport. You can't really judge that. There can be trends or whatever. Yeah. And I think you can almost pick out who will be good in the long run. But I also don't think you can ever say a guy's going to be bad when it's about speed and contact and going the other way and hitting against the shift and sometimes laying down a bunt and the things that these guys all do.
And the fact is, when you talk about putting the ball in play, I mean, I think in the modern age, it's so much more important than ever with the type of stuff that pitchers have. And I think Sandy Alcantara is running away with the Cy Young right now. Obviously, if I had a vote in second place right now, I'd put Edwin Diaz.
Dude, I said it last night. He's plus 12,000 right now on the Barstool Sportsbook, and if Alcantara gets hurt, or something happens, the next biggest story of the year pitching in the NL is Edwin Diaz. Like, it's what he's doing is more impressive than any other starter besides Sandy Alcantara. The strikeouts are insane, unhittable. You're right. I mean, he's right. He's it's a distant second because of just the nature of starter versus closer.
Right.
But he's number 2.
And Alcantara is having like a borderline like DeGrom in 18 kind of year.
He's unbelievable.
Every start is like 8 innings, 1 earned. 7 innings, no earned. But
Not the Mets though. The Mets are the
I was gonna say,
no,
we
he-
face them every
one
week.
team.
he'd have a sub 1 ERA if you take out,
Yeah.
don't take into account the starts he's had against you guys. I mean, but I was looking at it. I think it's going back to June 22nd. Dude, Edwin Diaz has 18 innings. He's got 38 strikeouts and 1 walk. 1 walk.
It is. You know what? There's a couple of relievers out there who are doing a great job this year. And every time I say Edwin Diaz is the best in baseball, they'll throw a couple names at me. And I look up the stats, and there's a couple guys who I'm like, oh, wow, you know what? That guy is having a better year than I realized or whatever.
Yeah.
But it always comes down to the strikeouts where it's like, oh, yeah, take that guy and double his strikeouts. And then you're approaching Edwin Diaz. And that matters, too, in as a starter. I don't care as much like if you pitch to contact or if you strike them out, whatever. As a closer, as a reliever, where I don't, we're not going to be doing. You're not getting anything. We're not, scoring runs any which way if I'm striking you out.
Exactly, because batted ball data can be an indication of luck, and pitch data the same way. But like, we can talk about potential regression. I'm not going to buy into regression because they're not putting the ball in play against it. Kevin, like it's like,
bro, what is so crazy? I can't remember, like as a viewer, Edwin Diaz, you only ever see him and the batter. The camera angles never even change to show you the ball. It's just Edwin and batter. It's crazy.
It's like that last at bat today was a prime example where you got, I mean, like hitting is fucking hard, man. He goes 93 slider, swing and a miss in the zone, by the way, 94 slider. You're probably sitting off speed. He goes 101 on the black. Like, how do you
forget it? I mean,
I was looking back at Edwin Diaz, who I think has pitched, I don't know, 50 innings maybe, would be second on the Tigers in strikeouts as a reliever.
Yeah, he's got strikeouts like a starter on some of these garbage teams.
Only Tarek Skubal, who's been our one healthy starter this year, would be ahead of him. I think Diaz has 80 something, maybe 90 something. Skubal has 117.
He is, and again, you have to understand. As a Mets fan, a lot of teams can claim this, but the Mets especially, we've really never had the guy. Even when we had a guy who would put up 45 saves, it was always a disaster. It was.
I can relate, man.
Yeah, a lot of teams can, but when it's Looper and guys like Howman, who was not a closer, but in the pen. And even Wagner and the good ones, K-Rod, those are the good guys.
Even Familia in the postseason, you knew that's like I've made that argument so many times. There's closers and there's closers. There's the guys who in mid-July can close down a game against the Mariners like nothing. But it's those big boy saves, those like we need it now, 2-1 games.
Close kind of we lost there are guys who pitch in the ninth. And there are guys who close the fucking door.
There's closers and there's finishers.
Yeah, right. That's a great way to put it. Great way to put it. I mentioned this earlier because I remember there was a streak as a young guy watching Mariano where it was like the game is 8 innings long, fellas. Like get your runs in then because it literally is over if he pitches. And we were kind of talking about it on our group text, and we were saying like, But Mariano did blow saves. We just didn't, there wasn't a Twitter meltdown every single time he did it. I actually I don't know the numbers, but I really do feel like there was a stretch back there where I watched where he converted like 1,000 in a row.
51 in a row. 51 in a row. I looked it up.
That's the streak?
Yeah.
And
sorry. That's at home. That's at home.
Because I also feel like it was DiMaggio-esque. DiMaggio hit 56 in a row, missed a day, and then hit like another 30. And you don't really hear about that. I feel like that was Mariano too, where even if he did blow one, he went right back to it.
Yeah.
My point being, am I at the level with Diaz where I can say to myself, guys, the game's over. They're not gonna get hit on him, or am I at the point where I should say to myself, we have to be somewhat realistic and acknowledge that he's gonna blow one eventually, and we should all like not, the sky's not falling. The guy deserves some slack. Or is it like, don't even fucking worry about it. It's not happening.
You know what my take on it would be is that for your guys' sake, I hope he hits because you're 6.5 up now. I hope he hits a rough patch in like early September and then gets it back. Like I would rather
get it out of the way
before the season is over. And then I remember, I think it might have been the 2015 Royals. I could be wrong. Where right before Holland got injured, there was a bit of a rough patch that they had when the division was over, they were like 14 and a half games up. And people were like, dude, what's up with the Royals bullpen? And then, you know, we know what happened in that postseason when they had Herrera and Davis and Madsen. It's like, I think if you're going to hit a rough patch, do everything before October. Get it out of your.
It's like an undefeated football team getting the loss out of the way and focusing on the postseason.
Yeah. Well,
or even today with DeGrom, I'm almost happy that they got those hits because like this perfect game thing that doesn't really matter. We don't have to worry about it anymore.
Bro, I think that's happened with Kershaw.
That happened with Kershaw this year.
Yeah.
He got pulled after like 7 innings back in April.
Yeah.
Well, no, I'm not even. Well, that too, but I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking like where if the year Kershaw won the MVP, he had like a 20 start stretch where they could not hit him. Like it was 10 strikeouts to start, 8 innings to start, and then he got to the postseason, and Matt Carpenter was his daddy for like back-to-back outings. It's you almost wish he had that one blow up to just kind of reset because these guys aren't robots, dude. Like it's
got to be human nature where you're thinking to yourself like, am I going to strike everybody out all the time? I mean, someone's going to eventually hit me, right? And it's almost like talk it through, get like, I want Buck to like, oh, by the way, real quick side note, the interpreter we have for the Mets needs more shine.
Yes,
I love this guy. I love him with the little patch of white hair. He's as the Mets have gotten better, he's gotten more swaggy. That guy's going to be a character come October. But yeah, a lot of this is almost like some things you almost want to go through some of the bad stretches. Let's get through a couple slumps. Let's, but also we went through the DeGrom injury and Max. Like we already kind of done some of that shit. Yeah. It might be pedal to the metal time.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good thing. It's a good problem to have when you have a nice lead in your division. If this was 1.5, it's like we need Diaz to be nails like the rest of the season. Yeah.
And who do the Braves play next, Meek? I know
the Boston Red Sox.
It's like can anybody else step up and beat the Atlanta Braves just so we can maybe get a little bit more of a cushion? And the only way we can do it is if we play them head to head. Goodness. I mean, thank you to the Phillies. I think they did a little bit of damage, but holy moly, these guys, they're going to miss Alcantara when they play the Marlins.
They may or may not miss Alcantara. Alcantara pitches Tuesday. He gets lined up for Sunday. So
if they miss him again somehow, well, we have to play him like
4 times in a fucking month. I'll be irate.
Another 3 times somehow.
You beat him twice though, right?
It's still annoying to face.
Yeah. No, I mean, like we and even the times we didn't beat him, like I think we hit him around a couple times as well. Yeah. So, but man, it would be nice to beat the shit out of the Reds, and if they could lose a couple games to the Red Sox somehow, even extend it further, where it's like, this is your fucking division now, man. Woo! God, it feels good.
This is the one thing I'll say, and I don't want to bring back bad memories, good vibes. We want to keep them high, but you're at the point now. You have to win this division.
Oh yeah.
It's this. You are a better team than the Atlanta Braves.
Yeah, no, that's a fact. Yeah. At this point, Chris, I'm worried about the Phillies. The Braves are dead in the dirt as far as I'm concerned. You could say that right now. I'm not even convincing myself as I say it. I'm still nervous about it. But it does feel like, okay, I don't know. They won 14 in a row. They won like 30 of 33. They don't impress me. I don't know what to tell you. Like they just don't when they're playing head to head with good teams. It just doesn't feel that way. Sorry.
Yeah, I got to see the Braves actually answer the bell. They play the Astros at the end of the month. They play the Cardinals at the end of the month. They play us again. I need to see the Braves show some fucking balls. Like, I mean, even the Mets, that game, 8-0, Taiwan gets shelled, and they fucking come back. They make them use their arms, and then they didn't win a game the rest of the fucking weekend. That's the kind of shit I need to see from the Braves.
That comeback, I swear to God, if Joey Cora doesn't send him, this is the 3rd time I've said it now, but now Castellani's here. If they didn't send him, I really think that rally was going to keep going. Yeah. That dude with the middle of the lineup coming up, I don't think they were going to get away without some more damage there. But nonetheless, forcing that bullpen, that's why you got to watch the games, and you can't just look at the box scores at the end of the day, because that made all the difference for that loss might be the most important game of that series, as silly as that sounds.
Well, no, because when you play a series, especially a rare 5-game series, you're not only playing for that game, you're playing for tomorrow's game. So like they had Ian Anderson on the mound. Had he have gone out, and I think he just got sent down actually, but had he have gone out and shoved, it lines up their bullpen for the rest of the series. The fact that you got to him, I believe he gave up 5-6 earned runs. It changed the dynamic of the next 3 games because, all of a sudden they're kind of back behind the 8 ball, and obviously you didn't come back and win. And as much as I love your rotation, I do think that if there's one issue that you guys have, it's the sustainability of Taijuan Walker. He always has that kind of second half, like drop off, but which past years makes a big deal. But when you have Scherzer and DeGrom, you can kind of deal with it. And Carrasco's been brilliant. Carrasco's been great, man.
They've all been good. I mean, even Peterson and Williams, the guys that don't have the big flashy names, they give you like 5 or 6 like every fucking day now, man. It's unbelievable.
I'll tell you, I love when there's like some Midwestern players. You can tell Castellani has like a little more experience. He's like, yeah, Cookie. I watch Cookie a whole lot. Like I love hearing Castellani talk from personal experiences with a lot, even though he's a sicko. Kevin, you weren't around for this when Castellani called the other night. We were talking about it. Because Castellani, he's watching. He'll tell you about Kershaw, the 20 games. He bought another fucking TV so he could watch Jake Arrieta start along with the Tigers.
He's the one guy at Barstool that and I'm pretty good with this. Like I hide it well when I met like all of you guys. The one guy I would be starstruck by would be Arrieta.
Yeah, I mean,
we had 2 TVs in college, and I said it was my sophomore year at Central Michigan, and I said to these guys like, look, I know that we kind of equally paid for this, but every 5th day, this is my TV.
The Arrieta TV is great.
and you want to hear some like awesome, like sick, crazy motherfucker shit that I swear I couldn't believe it. Castellani goes, I don't remember if it was, I think it was Don LaGreca said it. And I go, Castellani, are you listening to New York sports radio during the day? And he's like, yeah, they don't really talk baseball here in Detroit when they're bad. They just talk about like Michigan State. I'm like, you are sick where you're listening to the just afternoon drive time to get your fix of New York baseball because we're ravenous about this shit in the city. And that's why I love this guy. One of the many reasons I love
Bro, literally, if you want to get Castellani laughing hard, like if there's 3 things in the world that make me laugh harder than anything. Impractical Jokers, the show Nathan For You, and Mike Francesa prank calls. that shit, I will die like every time. So I've become way more well versed in New York radio than I ever thought that I would.
You know what I will say? The one thing missing, unfortunately, the Mets being this good without having Mike on every day. I would love to hear some of the Mike takes on this squad throughout the year, man. Oh my.
I would love to hear Mike's take on this one too. Let me see if I can get it on the stream here.
He tweeted about it, right?
Yeah, he said something like this.
Mets struck out the Braves 19 times. Unreal.
Yeah.
Our boy, Mr. Strider here after he got his ship put in 2 2/3 today. He made it.
Yeah, what a fucking
dork. I don't know how the audio will come across, so we'll give it at the end.
A lot of weird hits. They seem to be having a lot of luck right now offensively, so that's great. August, see what things are like in October.
Fucking guy, 2 2/3, 6 hits, 4 runs, 2 walks, 5 Ks in the biggest game of the season at this point for them. That's the kind of shit he's giving us right now. I swear, these Braves people, I mean, like they got the littlest shriv, they got a slice of success finally. They root for the Atlanta Falcons, who blew a 28-3 Super Bowl lead. The Atlanta Hawks, you forget exist in the NBA, other than when Trey Turner shoved it up our ass. The Atlanta Braves were the team.
Trey Young.
What did I say? Trey Turner? Yeah.
Trey.
And then and it just drives me up. And the Atlanta Braves, some guy goes, it doesn't mean a thing if you guys don't win the World Series. I go, yeah, I watched the 90s Braves every fucking year. You guys are awesome. And you fucking never did shit. And I don't want to, you want to talk about like bad calls? Greg Maddux had a 7-foot strike zone every time he played us. I don't want to hear about call. And the today was absolutely terrible.
I'm convinced. Loving this man right now. My mother would she would kiss you on the lips right now. It's always about the with Maddux. He wasn't that good. He just had a good strike zone. Absolutely, bro. I love it.
The today, I'm convinced he was. It was CB Buckner. He was one step to the right because he called all the outside strikes, but nothing on the inside that was on the plate. He didn't call. It was like he was literally just one step over. It was driving me crazy. But that's why I think they kept Jelly in, because Jelly just kept peppering the outside or bounced the ball, and they swung every time because that's what you do. So many teams don't play baseball anymore, Chris. You know this. They just go for the home run. They do that kind of shit. The Mets play the way it used to be played, and everyone's just like, what the fuck? We're doing shifts and all this stuff, and they hit the ball to the parts, and the defense has to make a play. And the Braves do the Braves do this a lot? Do they kick the ball around the yard? Because they kicked it around the yard against us all weekend.
No. I mean, they're usually really sound in that department. I mean, they've played well against every team I've seen them play against, except for you guys.
That's beautiful. Music to my ears, Chris.
Yeah,
You've also seen them play like basically the Nationals. They've played the Nationals 110 times, no less.
Are they done with them for the year? Because
No, they don't see them again until September.
It's nuts. They played them legitimately like 12 times in a row. Let's get to some calls. Castellani, if you don't mind sliding in for me and taking my role with these calls.
No, I'm down for it, man. I mean, I don't want to hog up any space. That's all.
I'm passing my torch to Chris. Will you guys?
Are you sure, man? I mean, you're the Mets.
No. I got to bounce, but I want to make sure that I want all the fans to get their takes off. So you slide in for me, bro.
All right, we got gotta believe we got a good crew here. Bring the energy, bring the funk. If you want, I see someone is in Epler mode already. Bring the Epler mode shit. I see my guy Angel in here. Probably has the belt ready to rock. We're gonna start off with Alex. Alex, how you feeling, baby? We're in Epler mode. How we feeling, Alex? How we doing right now? Tell me what's going on.
I'm doing amazing, boys. This is unreal. This is just unreal. The Braves are nothing. What is good about Georgia? Tell me what is good about Georgia. I'm a Jets fan. I was rooting for the Falcons. They blew it. So fuck the Falcons. I'm a Knicks fan. Fuck the Hawks. I'm a Mets fan, obviously. I hate the Braves. What is good about Georgia? I'm so done with them. They are awful. They cannot compete with us. The East is ours. I'm going to say it right now. Like we just proved it. Like, how many more games do we have against them? 4? Like, they're not going to come back. Like, I'm saying that right now. I'm so confident after this.
Put it down in the fucking ledger. Alex says the Braves are not coming back on August 7th. I fucking love it. They're 6.5. That is a whole lot of games.
I don't want to be that Sal Licata guy. Like, I don't want to jinx them, but they proved it. They proved it this series. And Braves fans, my buddy's a Braves fan. He's like, oh well, we didn't have Charlie Morton this series. Like, you couldn't hit David Peterson. Like, what is the argument here? Like, yeah, we have Scherzer.
And they pitched Charlie Morton. Fried. They pitched Fried. Fried's their best pitcher. Yeah.
Fried's their best pitcher, and we scored 3 runs off him. And he's fucking falling on his face trying to throw out Lindor at the plate. Like, what are we doing here, boys?
Your buddy had the gall, the unmitigated gall. I'll turn into Stephen A. Smith real quick on these motherfuckers if they keep saying this. 5 innings, 5 earned in a fucking 7-3 loss. Charlie Morton, last time he played the New York Metropolitans at home, no less. That's the difference in this series. Charlie fucking Morton. Did the Braves score 5 in any game other than the fucking Taiwan white flag game? They didn't. What is he talking? And all right. Good things about Georgia. Everyone trying to think of something good about Georgia. I'll give you one. They film a lot of movies there. I believe a lot of the Marvel stuff is there. That's one thing good about Georgia. I'm going to tell you one thing that's not good about Georgia. Peaches. Peaches suck. Peaches, like, who the fuck eats fruit with fuzz on it? That's disgusting. That's like mold. Peaches are garbage. And I apologize if anyone here is a big peach fan, but peaches are gross. What else? Is there anything else good about Georgia?
Well, I got to throw it out there just because I was there for the live stream on New Year's Eve. Awesome college football team. That Kirby Smart, champion. I'll give them that. Yeah, you got to respect it. Yeah,
and they were the Mets of
football. They're pretty good. Yeah,
and let's not forget, UGA was the Mets of college football, right? For all the fucking idiot hillbillies down there, all they would do is they get the hopes up, and then they just collapse in comical fashion.
They were not when they played us. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All I got is Chick-fil-A. That's the best I can come up with for Georgia.
Okay.
That's all.
That's pretty good. Phil, you have anything good from Georgia? I don't think Phil's going to even give them a
I'm not giving you anything good here.
Oh, man. All right, Alex.
The most telling, I think, was game 1 of the doubleheader, though, because I was shocked when I went back to check that stat line in the box score that we had 1 double. Everything else was a single, and we still scored 8 runs. Like, you are getting beat over the head by professional hitter after professional hitter, and there's nothing you can do about it at that point. Like, we're not a strikeout-heavy team like they are. And if they're living and dying by the long ball, and we have pitchers that can strike them out, they have a very one-dimensional offense.
Peterson didn't even have his best stuff. He had like 3 walks and a hit by pitch. Yep. He put guys on base, but he made his pitches get out of jams. I'd like him to not walk that many in the future, but still, that was really good.
19 of their outs were strikeouts. They had 2 hits, and one of them was a home run. So they are a homer or strikeout team. Like, they're so vulnerable.
They're not playing baseball. They're playing that weird whatever the fuck you want to call it, and the Mets play baseball. So everyone else is going to play.
2016 Mets.
There might have been a Brave in the dugout, and I'm not going to say this is fact, but sources tell me there might have been a Brave in the dugout who didn't even know a Suicide Squad was allowed. They said that was against the rules. So that's the kind of stuff you're dealing with. They're just they do not know how to play the game of baseball. You know what do they say? Power go brr. It ain't going brr right now. It's going fucking brr for the Mets. I sound like an old man even trying to say that goddamn meme. Alex, give me a number, win number total for the season.
Say it again. Sorry.
Okay. Well, how many wins? How many wins you got for the season for the Metties? We're at a 107 pace, I believe Tacoma said. 104?
104. Let's just say 104.
Which, for the record, would be the second most wins in Mets history. 108 is the most, 86. Then 188 was the last time they did it. They did it, I think, one or two other times. But so 104 would be the second best team in New York Mets history. That's the team we've been fighting each other about if they're good or not for fucking 4 months. A team that is on pace to be the second best team in franchise history. I just want everyone to digest that. Thanks for calling it out. Stay in Epler mode. Don't ever take those sunglasses off.
Appreciate it, boys.
Can I just say real quick? Do you guys know how many wins 104 is? Like my Tigers had Verlander had 5 Cy Young winners on the same team. The most we ever won was 95. Like winning 104, that's a ridiculous amount of games, dude. Like,
yeah, I think 102 would be like a stretch realistically in my mind, just because we're not the team who goes on this long streak. We could, like, it's imaginable, but like we're the team that's winning the series. So like just the trajectory and the way that this has panned out this whole way, I think we're in the middle of whatever this streak is going to be. And then after that, like we might just go back to winning series, which is totally fine.
That's a good point. And I also think if you clinch early, you might lose that pace a little bit the last week and a half or so. Or
I agree. I think Buck's going to do the right things to try to get guys in or try stuff out that he didn't want to see for the postseason, or maybe even, he didn't get any of his bull. Chris, what happened with Chafin? Did you guys did they not listen to you? I thought you were going to give us a good word and get him shipped over for like a bag of balls.
Well, when you have a cardboard cutout as your general manager, there's really kind of no plan of what's going on. I think they had a ridiculously high asking price on everyone. I regret bringing this up. I can see the anger filling into your eyes as soon as
you
know what's true is like I'm okay with bringing back the bullpen for next year. I like our bullpen, but it confirms to me there's no plan. Like they're just throwing up like shit at the wall and seeing what sticks. Like I think that they were kind of like, all right, let's sell. And we didn't trade our closer. He gave up 5 runs in the 9th today in a meaningless game where Matt Manning was brilliant. Like that's just kind of the team we have. I wanted one of our guys, if we were going to trade him, to go to you guys. What we did instead, we traded Michael Fulmer in division to a team we were playing. So he walked across to another clubhouse and pitched a scoreless inning against us the next day. Like,
God damn it. And yeah,
baseball, man.
Mets, like you said, though, like it is hard to really fathom. It's like telling someone how great a filet mignon is when they've been eating nothing but bread and water for so long. It's like 100 wins is so fucking good, but you don't even know what like chicken tastes like. And it's like, wait, I'm just trying to try some fucking proteins, man. Don't tell me about filet mignon.
Yeah.
We're gonna go to Angel next. How we doing, Angel baby?
Woo! Oh my God. I have been saying it for the Dodgers series after we beat the hell out of them and Medina came in and shoved against the entire lineup.
You have?
I said it against the Braves series after we beat them 3 out of 4. I said it after the Yankee series after we swept them. Wait till DeGrom comes back. Now, we can throw the Washington game out the way because, I mean, that's typical Mets. I mean, fair enough. DeGrom comes in, pitches good. He gives up a run. Then the Mets bats don't come to show up until after he leaves, which is like, DeGrom's probably looking at that Lindor home run like, really? You couldn't do that with me on the mound?
That's how he was back.
I don't even take it as like a typical DeGrom start. I looked at it as one of those starts we had this year where it's like the offense just didn't show up. And it's fair enough. I don't hate it. But this entire series just made me think if we can get to at least 5.5, we're good. But now I'm watching the game and I'm seeing Diaz come in the 9th and I'm thinking, if Taiwan didn't have that bad game, can you imagine his fan base if we swept them?
Yep.
Holy cow. I'm watching DeGrom pitch. First of all, SNY was on point today. Not only did they have the entirety of the Diaz entrance, they had the entirety of DeGrom warming up. silence. I've never heard his actual walk-up song before, which is weird, I know, but I didn't watch them in 2018 or 19. I refused to watch them in 2020, and I started to watch them consistently around June of 2021. And even back then, with all their injuries, I'm like, this ain't sustainable. There's no way we're going to sustain all this. We were first place by committee, kind of like what the Twins are, or I think the Twins or the Guardians or whomever is leading the AL Central right now. You're in first place by committee because the rest of your division's trash.
Correct. We're in it. So yes.
I'm sorry, Chris. I'm sorry.
No, dude. I'm tossing you curveballs. Just knock them out.
It's like, but like with the way this team has been, I thought DeGrom can go 4 or 5, give up a couple of hits, shut down rallies, and leave the game feeling good about himself. He went 5 2/3 perfect. What more do you have to say about that? 5 2/3 perfect. He gives up a walk, then a home run, and the entire fan base is like, whatever. Just get it to the bullpen. We'll be fine. Then out of nowhere, Joely Rodriguez comes out and just shoves. Like, shout out to him. Yeah. It's another case this year of what I've been saying on Twitter. You bring in one guy that doesn't show up on a normal basis, and then he comes in and does that. And then after the 8th inning, Edwin Diaz comes in and it's just game over. At this point, I'm with KFC. We don't even look at the Braves anymore. I'm with Clem. I'm not bragging about beating the Braves anymore because at this rate, it's like you're just another team to us. The only teams I'm worried about are the Dodgers, the Astros, and the Padres, I guess. But then again, the Padres are showing that they're getting their ass beat by the Dodgers, so it's like,
Everyone wants to get on that Padres bandwagon. I'm telling you.
I don't.
I'm not buying in. You had a great deadline. Cool. That's fine.
And that's the thing.
I love Kesplotti's voice. I love it. It's like, I'm telling you, that's a wise man right there.
That's another thing I wanted to say as my phone rings. Is whatever. The Mets didn't have the best deadline in terms of picking up their star players, but they got guys that fit this team. Vogelback fits this team. I don't think someone said it here. I don't think there's ever been a guy that comes on a team and does quickly become a fan favorite as much as he has. Ruff has been great. Naquin has been great. Gibbons hit or miss, but then again, it's whatever. Buck Showalter and Billy Epler in all the perfect buttons this entire year, especially after the trading deadline. And when you get Trevor May back, when you get DeGrom back, when you get McCann back, and yes, offensively, it's James McCann, but defensively, it's James McCann. Come on. At that point, I look at this team and I'm just saying to myself, it's time we stop saying this team is good. This team is great. This is a generational Mets team. I don't think there's ever been a Mets team as good as this. You can say 86. You can say 2006. But Clem mentioned the pitching doesn't touch 2022.
Yep.
Yeah.
And there was a YouTuber, I'm sorry to cut you off, but there was a YouTuber who made a video on the trading deadline. And he was saying, I don't know why Mets fans are crying about not getting all these names when they got all their names in the offseason. When you got a Canna, when you get an Escobar, when you get a Marte, when you get a Max Scherzer, when you bring in Buck Showalter to calm everybody down, you don't need to get anybody else. Just get a couple of guys to lobby the bench and you're golden. Getting DeGrom back was the best thing that we could have done. Now? I don't even know what to say now.
It's a fucking nuke. You just gave a team that is strapped to the teeth a fucking nuclear weapon, and we're gonna say, like, we talked about earlier. I'm not worried about the other teams anymore. I'm not doing it. I wasn't scoreboard watching down in Carolina. I'm sure as shit not going to start that now. But I'm telling you, the only thing I care about is our guys staying healthy. That's all I need. Is our guys stay healthy, especially the big dogs at the top, the big dog at the end of it, and the big dogs in the middle of the lineup. Show them the belt. Show them the belt, Angel. Angel's
to be fair, I'm looking at it like this. Would you rather have DeGrom do what he did last year in 2021, go on a historic stretch, and then be out for the rest of the season? Or would you rather him go on that historic stretch in 2022 in the second half and possibly the postseason? And I think Gary Cohen or someone on the SNY broadcast said it perfectly. You're going into a possible bye in the postseason and this wild card round coming up. Who in the world wants to face DeGrom and Scherzer to start the divisional round? Who? And even if we get to that point, it's like, okay, you got Chris Bassett, you got Taijuan Walker, you got David Peterson probably, you got Trevor Williams in long relief, you got Edwin Diaz coming in the bullpen in the 9th inning to shut you down and make you shut up and be humble. And the fact that Austin Riley, after the crap he said when we were down 0.5 in the standings, and the entire fan base was losing their mind, and he said it on that tweet, like, hey, we're coming for you. Yeah, you're coming for the Phillies. That's what's happening.
You said it, my brother.
And at this point, I want to get greedy and say 110. I'm going to go 105, 106. Okay. I want to say 110 so badly, but I know it's this team. I know we got to be on hiatus and be like relaxed, but still, I've never seen a Mets team this good before.
Yeah.
I've been a fan for a long time. I watched the 2015 team. I've never seen a team this good in this long of a stretch. And now we're going further.
Yeah. I feel like this is what the 15 team would have been if Cespedes was there the whole year, like hitting the way that he was, like with the way that you guys get. So real quick though, because they brought it up on the broadcast. They brought up a statistic I'd never heard. The first 18 sliders that the Braves swung at from DeGrom, they swung and missed at.
It's crazy. Yep.
Guys, I've never in my life seen anything like that. 18 in a row. This is a good lineup. I know they strike out all the time, but that was insane. And finally, I think it was I'm not even gonna. I think it might have been Andrianza, but I could be wrong. Fouled one off, and Cohen was like, "There's miracle from God." Like they finally made contact with a DeGrom slider. That is insane, guys. That's ridiculous.
It like broke our brains because we hadn't seen it in so long. But not even this start where he looked even better than the original start. But even that first start, you see him on the mound, and it's like we just saw Scherzer throw, and here he comes, and the electricity between those two pitchers, and like the gap between those two pitchers at this point in their career right now, you're like. That's just a different level of pitcher on the mound. Like the command that he has, he's not rusty. Like he's coming out and instantly he is better than anyone you could possibly put up against him after 365 plus days of not pitching a professional baseball game. It's insane.
I think it was exactly 13 months, right? I think is what they said between time. And Cohen brought it up as well, whereas there was a silence in between pitches where it's like, what's he going to do on this one? It reminded me as a Tiger fan that Verlander MVP season where it's like, we're not only paying attention to every start, we're paying attention to every pitch. Like this is how good this guy is. Yeah.
And that's when I was just looking at the highlights of DeGrom, I go, holy shit, I just forget how good he is. You know, it's because it's not something you're going to see. Even Max, it's different watching Max than Jake. Jake is at his best is a cut above everyone else, which is bananas to say that we just got this guy. Patty, how we doing, baby? How we doing right now?
Yo, what's up, boys? I can't believe I missed KFC again. For the second time. I was excited.
You have to throw some like crazy sexual hypotheticals at him for KFC radio. Maybe that's what you're bound to do.
I know Angel said it that we're just looking at the Braves as just another team, but after seeing all their fans, I'm sure Meek can attest to this. After seeing all their fans on social media, that feels so sweet, to be honest with you. Like 4 out of 5 from them, and then you get all the excuses like the no Morton. Another thing we learned is Ronald Acuna is probably the biggest pussy to walk the face of the earth.
He got the DeGrom flu. He got the DeGrom flu today, and then he miraculously got healed when Joely Rodriguez was on the mound. So thank God Fried and Ronald Acuna looked like they were going to be out for a while. Nope, they're fine. It turns out.
Yep, apparently they're fine. But Jake brought his stuff today. Let me tell you, it was so refreshing, honestly, watching him again because like we took it for granted when we had it, and then we went a year without it, and now we're back to it, and it feels good to watch every 5th day.
Cherish this team, man. I mean, Chris told you how special it is, how crazy, how rare it is to have an 100-win team, and obviously none of us have seen that. So I'm not really telling many people much. I don't know. Maybe like Frank the Tank might remember '88. All I remember is Mike Schultz's home run the next day. Yeah. But like again, just cherish this shit, man. I think this series is going to get a lot of the angst off of Mets fans. If there's something crazy in terms of an injury or some LOL Mets like bullshit that pops up. But I even think like hitting a speed bump in the road against a couple of teams, people aren't going to freak out too much. The Yankee series is going to bring a lot of juice back. The next Braves series, same thing. But you said it though. Like I think there's something about this series. The Braves are the world champions. A good like that lineup. is just so, it just does not stop, man. It's so frustrating. Yeah. And they should have, like, they have good pitchers. They just don't pitch good against us. But according to their numbers, they should be good pitchers. And the fact that we just come out, beat them, and then, like you said, the fans are kind of like, that's the thing we're dealing with on social media, or if you know any fans. And I have to say it, like, I found it where I feel like Phillies fans, I saw them, they were like, these fucking Braves fans suck. They're like, we hate Mets fans, but like we hate them, but kind of respect them. These Braves fans, they just like joined the party 5 minutes ago, and they're acting like they fucking win the World Series every year. They had a fucking magical postseason, and they act like they're the Yankees fans from like the 1960s or something. It's bananas. It's like living in another world. It's craziness.
The same fan base that, by the way, wanted to sell at the trade deadline last year. Like I had JT in my ear going, we need to get rid of Freddie Freeman and get whatever back we can because there's no way they're winning anything. And then it's like you got hot at the right time. This isn't some world-beating, thump-your-chest Braves team from the 90s where every single season you're like, well, we can't beat those guys. This is a good Braves team, but a Braves team that can easily be exposed, as we've just seen.
Yep, exactly.
Do you guys think this series carries more weight than the 2 games against the Yankees? Because I feel like it's like 10 times more.
Yes.
Than those 2.
Yeah.
Yes.
Definitely.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. It's a longer series, and I mean, well, we got a long ways to go, but like the deeper this goes, the more it's very clear that what the Yankees were the first 2 months of the season is not indicative of who they are right now. Their pitching is shitting the bed. And they had that great stretch, but like they have no starters right now, and that I'm looking at and going, that I trust him. Cole
trade Jordan Montgomery and then to have him come in the following week and just fucking destroy you.
Oh my God. Since trading Joey Gallo. What a coincidence.
What a coincidence.
I know you can't think of things like this as a GM, but like if you're Brian Cashman, you can't be like, we're going to trade Montgomery to the Cardinals knowing like we got to face him 2 days from now. Like it's just like, like that is if I should have bet that fucking game because it's like that is number one example of he's going to show up. And he wasn't like amazing. It was 5 innings. But it's, I mean, they got swept. And if there is a team, and right now what you guys are, the 2 would be the 2 seed in the.
Yeah, behind the Dodgers.
No one's catching the Dodgers.
No one's like 40 games above 500. It's preposterous.
If there is a team that could crash the NLCS party outside of the Dodgers, it's, I think, the Cardinals right now. But with the way they're playing,
that's why we were very happy. At least us Mets fans, we did not want to see Soto go to the Cardinals and get into that's the Midwestern version of the Astros machine, except theirs is the weird Cardinals dark arts. It's not quite the Giants. The Giants is like every so often. Cardinals is just a machine, though. I mean, fucking Adam Wainwright is still pitching for them. It's crazy that this guy has spanned our 2 best Mets team of my lifetime, and that fucking asshole has been pitching the entire time. It's bananas. Pat, give me a number. Wins for the season.
Real quick, I was at the game at 1:10 yesterday, the first game. There's something special in the air there. I don't know how recently you guys were there, but it's feeling real special. Yeah. I don't know if you guys have seen our September schedule yet. Have you looked that far?
I've been talking about this since June. September is what we look forward to.
My goodness, I'm gonna go 108 if you look at that September schedule. It's like Oakland twice, Oakland once, the Pirates twice, the Nationals. I mean, it's all those garbage bottom level tier teams in September, and I can't wait for that if they keep playing like this. So I'm gonna go 108 if they keep this up.
That's a magical number. Everyone knows that's the 86 Mets. That's a 108. You kind of get the butterflies in your stomach. And for the people who don't know, September it starts with the last game of a Dodgers series. Then it's Nats, Pirates, Marlins, Cubs, Pirates, Brewers, A's, Marlins, Braves, Nationals. So the cake is there to be eaten if we want to have it before the parade for sure. All right, we're gonna have Mets 2128 coming in right now. He has his straw hat on. How we doing, buddy?
Well, to be honest, not in a good mood after the con kicked me out yesterday for scrupulous behavior. Not, you know what I mean.
Wait, Comic-Con?
Con, but yes, they kicked me out.
What were you doing, Mets 2128? Were you acting outlandish? Were you,
no, it was just, no, I view myself as somewhat of a quipper, someone who makes a remark about a costume, film that I'm familiar with, and then tries to get a reaction that's supposed to be funny related to the show. The problem is I come off as a very forceful and abrasive individual with the vocal pitch, as you guys would know.
I could see that in real life, but I give you credit. You're not like the internet commenter behind their keyboard is one thing. The person who says it, at least in their face, that's at least a little. The only problem with that is you get kicked out. Oh, so is Quipper? Is that like a thing? Is that a part of the community where it's like this guy's a Quipper? Like I'm bringing.
No, it's just something I came up with. I mean,
oh, okay.
I mean, you know how online trolls that go on a malicious level claim they can say some like. Take the South Park 20th season where Gerald basically became a troll, claiming he was a satirist, quote unquote.
Yes.
I'm going similar, but I go in the opposite direction. Instead of saying something edgy to make people laugh, even though it's malicious, I do it more for basically making a quip related to the show without getting edgy, though I don't intend to be malicious.
I actually work with a guy who's a lot like what you act like. It sounds like you don't see him on
syndrome.
He might have something on that level for sure.
Anyway, as for 4 out of 5, I was asking myself, did Walker get hurt on Friday?
How are you bringing up the one negative? But no, it's a good question. Phil, I think you might have saw it. I think he said his hip is all right. He's gonna start.
He said he's fine, so I'm just taking him by his word.
Yeah, I know these guys. They don't want to hang it up for a little bit, especially he's in a contract year, right? So I understand he might not want to go on the IL, but we got to be fucking smart with him. He's kind of been the secret sauce of this season. He picked it up when we lost Jake, we lost Max. He was one of the guys. So he says he's fine, but I think we'd all sign up for another David Peterson start, even throw a Trevor Williams start in there if we have to. Again, what is it? 20 games in 19 days is the way it all pans out with the double headers. We have one off day, but then it's another double header.
My next call is Thursday, and I'm doing the Field of Dreams.
Oh, you're going to the game?
No, I'm doing the game on stream. I'm calling the game.
Oh, you're streaming. Gotcha. We should have you and Chris call a game together. Chris calls the game sometimes when
every so often. I want to get down there. Yeah, I'd be down.
One problem: I can only do regional coverage on Saturday nights. I don't have a cable setup or a streaming setup.
Oh, okay.
So I basically use local channeling.
So if people want to tune in, do they just go to Mets 2128 on YouTube? Like, is that what they just pump in and then they can find it? Like, is that I don't know how YouTube works with like the usernames and shit like that. Just
but you have to put in like live play-by-play / reactions to next to my name.
Smash the subscribe button and then you'll just appear there at all times, right? When they find you.
Or try to, yes.
Yeah.
But anyway, glad that the Mets took at least 4 out of 5. I didn't think we were going to. Personally, I was hoping, at the worst, I was hoping we'd only win one just to barely hang on to the division lead. I'm glad we got close to the best of taking all 5. But again, if Walker's hip didn't go wacky on him, we would have swept Atlanta.
Yep, 100%. 100%. What we did to their bullpen, man, that bullpen just could not catch a break because we just grinded down the starters and the bullpen came.
That point 2 weeks ago when Atlanta was closing in, I was like, okay, it's official. The Braves are coming on our necks. But then I go to a show on Sunday, wrestling event on Sunday night. Braves start falling apart. And now it seems like Atlanta is basically falling back, and it's exposing their one weakness. Their bullpen can't handle better teams than they are.
Yep. And when the balls don't go at the yard, they're going in the catcher's glove. Yeah. That seems to be a problem.
On paper, the Dodgers are out of their view window. They don't have to deal with them anymore. They don't have to deal with the Padres anymore. But us, at least 2 or 3 more times. I mean, who's the only other winning team they've got left in their schedule? Philadelphia?
Who, the Mets?
Braves.
They have coming up. They have the
the Astros, us, the Cardinals, the Phillies.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, and the Giants aren't over 500. They had the Mariners, who are scarier now than they were a couple months ago.
I like the Mariners a lot, actually. I think
they don't have their September schedule. They have us, and then they have a lot of like kind of. Well, I guess Seattle has kind of turned it around for sure. They have like the Giants, the Nats, but they have 7 against Philadelphia and Mets 21-28. I don't know if you notice. The Phillies are only 3 games back of the big bad Braves right now.
Wow.
Those Braves trolls. Hey, you tomahawk wheeling boneheads. The fucking Phillies are coming to ring your damn bell.
Yes. We just figured out how we're going to weaponize you, Mets 2128. We're going to use you as a quipper. We need you as like a baseball quipper, and you quip the fuck out of the goddamn Braves fans who've been quipping us on Twitter. Is that like, I don't know we can make this work, but I feel you and Frank together, positive Frank and Mets 2128, we'll annihilate all these motherfuckers.
Positive past 4 years, Braves have shown they under Snitker they can adapt, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen this year.
I fucking love you, Mets 2128. Give me a number. What's our number looking like for the wins?
I'm going to play it safe and say 106.
Save.
I love it. This is, I mean, for the whole saga, the Mets 2128 saga, we're calling in, we're complaining about bullpen to now playing it safe with 106. That's all you got to know about this Mets team. This Mets team is different. This Mets team is special. This Mets team is great.
In case to the minimum, only a dozen more to get.
Yeah, that's right. All right, Mets 2128. Thanks for calling in and thanks for contributing as always, brother. He's always in the chat. Erasmo, how we doing, big boy?
What's going on, guys? Let's fucking go. Let's go.
Erasmo always brings the fucking vibes, and the vibes are already great. So it's good to have you on, brother. You deserve to come on after a day like today, a weekend like this.
How are we feeling, boys? Is everyone happy? Ecstatic.
Ask for more.
I'm happy for these guys, man. This is a lot of fun.
And I'm happy for Chris. Fuck that. I'm happy for
Chris needs to get baptized.
I got to get there. I saw it at the ballpark the other day, Clem. I mean, I got a tub around here. I might have to do a full. I mean, I posted a shirtless picture yesterday. The next step might be, shirtless picture baptized into Coenology.
So I was on Twitter and I kept seeing, throughout the entire year, people have been saying it's only April, it's only May, it's only June. Somebody said in a comment, 52 games. Like, bro, it's gonna be after the World Series. We're gonna be at the parade eating cake and punch, and they're gonna say, "Oh, it was only the 22 season." Like, like at what point are they gonna realize that they're just not a good team at all? The Braves, I'm referring to.
It's gonna probably happen. Oh, no, because then it'll be like, well, we didn't have Soler this year. I don't know what they're gonna say. Like, I don't know what I'm at a loss. I don't even care what they're gonna say. Again, I ain't looking at you. I'm looking past you. I'm looking at the Dodgers. Like, hey, the Braves, there's a good chance. I'm a Mets fan long enough to know it's not going to be fucking easy. And I'm sure we're going to have to face the Braves. And I'm sure every big game will come down to Acuna at the plate or fucking Austin Riley at the plate. But at the same point, like, I'm not going to just like consume myself being like, we got to win these games. We got to win these games. They have to beat us at this point now. They have to beat us. They have to win more games than us, a lot more games than us, to be honest with you. And, we start to get the schedule that they got when, they got fat off everyone else. So it's don't worry about what everyone else has to say. The guy, I saw that tweet at me too. And I'm like, when can I just enjoy my team being 31 games above 500? Like, am I just not allowed to do that as a Mets fan? And again, going back to those Georgia fans, they probably heard the same shit. It's like, Georgia's going to blow it in the big spot. You're not going to be able to beat Bam in the big game, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, and then they did it. And then everyone just shut the fuck up. So if it's this year, if it's next year, at some point, when the Mets win the World Series, which they will under Steve Cohen, everyone's going to have to shut the fuck up. And then, Erasmo, that's when it comes all the way. And then we are the most obnoxious motherfucker. Oh my God, and there's going to be a point, and it's going to break my heart, Erasmo. I'm telling you right now, where Castellani's going to look at me and go, Clem, I can't fucking stand you anymore.
No. He's going to be one of us. I'm telling you no. And part of it is because I love you. But I also know if the Tigers win one, I'm lowballing it. 6-month Bender celebration. So like I'm just telling you, like I'll give you guys one. I don't care after that. Like I feel that way with every fan base. You get your one after that, don't care. But no, I don't see that happening. But I get what you're saying for sure.
Here's the problem, guys. Something's happened where this baseball in New York has changed, where the Yankees, similar to the Mets in the past, are finding the water finds its level always. And it always happened to us. We always had like the great first half, and then we'd always taper out. And now the Mets, we're only getting hotter as the season gets on. And as everyone sort of pointed out, the strength of schedule that everyone wanted to fucking talk about at the beginning of the year is in our favor now, where we're only going to play the teams that the Braves went 30-1 against.
Yeah.
Right? Like that, it's our turn now. And we just absolutely murdered them, right? So it's like, and something's happening in the city where we are now. It's more like LOL Yankees, and the Mets are rising to the top when the games actually matter.
Yeah, LOL Yanks is like the Montgomery thing is one of those things where it's just like, oh Jesus, Montez. I mean, they even have Frank the Yank is now running wild on Twitter, and our Frank the Tank is muted.
Honestly, I've thought, and I'll spoil it now. I've literally thought about making a Frank Tigers account, just like which at the same. But you know what's sad is all the tweets would just be my tweets. Because we're actually bad.
Happens.
Yes, the Tank.
Like, oh, Tigers are gonna lose 20 in a row, and it's like, oh, it actually do lose 20 in a row.
But I'd be right. That's the problem. Is I'd be right every time.
Yeah, it has changed a little bit. And I know the Yankees are they'll do what they always do as the Yankees, but it is kind of just not. And we knew this. That's the thing about like Braves fans, like, oh, the Mets are going to revert to their ways. You dumb assholes. You have been playing we've been fighting with one hand behind our back with the Wilpons for so goddamn long. Now we have two fucking fists in the fight now. And these fists have like barbed wire around them. It's like ECW in the fucking late 90s. This team doesn't play fair. We have a guy who had the SEC coming down his ass because he didn't give a fuck about rules. We are going to come. I'm telling you, Joely Rodriguez is pumping shit into him right now. And I am all for it right now. Whatever it takes to get that left-handed reliever to get the big out in October.
Bro, that changeup was playing today. I mean, he was dropping that thing down in the zone, and they were either hitting it into the ground or swinging and missing at it. Yeah, that was bizarre. Yeah.
It's all right, Erasmo, give me your number.
So my rating on the team last week was a 9.7. That's how confident I was. So everyone's, I don't know. I was looking at if there's 52 games left, I think something special is going to happen. Weirdly, now that DeGrom is back, it just seems like the team is finally like in its zone. And Pete and Lindor have only gotten better as the season's gone on. And like they're the workhorses of the lineup as Scherzer is to the rotation.
Yeah.
Lindor is in every single game. Pete plays every single game. That's what people don't understand, like how consistent Lindor is. He doesn't sit out even with a broken finger on his throwing hand. Like it's crazy. So I'm gonna go. We're gonna go 111. 111.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I'm not kidding you. Like we're gonna win 111 games.
Everybody is drinking the Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
Hey, if you're going to drink the Kool-Aid after this weekend,
you're
you're
a
never
positive Mets fan, but I just would love to hear what all the people who have been screaming that the sky is falling. After the series, there's nothing to scream about, so I'm actually curious if they're going to do complete flip opposite and be like, yep, we're going to win 120 games now.
Yeah. It's funny how people come around once, like they like seeing is believing, right? But it's like, if you know baseball, you know that the Mets have the stuff, right? It's like exit velocity doesn't matter if you only hit the ball 1 out of 12 times, and the one time you hit it, it's 115 miles an hour. Obviously, your exit velocity average is going to be really high because you only hit the ball 1 out of 10 times, and it's hard. Like it doesn't fucking matter. For 110 years, hitting the ball consistently is what won the game, and like sabermetrics is like fantastic and all, but the proof is in the actual wins at the end of the day.
There is numbers being cooked up by that fucking super nerd, the guy who predicts the Oscars. What's his name, Kyle? Do you remember? Or Phil? Do you know his name?
Ben Zalmer.
Yeah, that fucking guy is like exit velocity. That's 2000 and late. Like he quotes Fergie probably because that's how fucking like nerdy he is. And that is like that. I'm not worrying about exit velocity, all this shit. All I'm caring about is like just like you can just watch it. You can look at the numbers. It all makes sense. Francisco Lindor is good. We've been saying that forever. And this thing, like you said with the Yankees, there were some things where it was like, all right, Clay Holmes just pitching out of his mind. King is pitching out of his mind.
Yeah.
King gets hurt. Holmes regresses. And it does feel like they've been like living in a dream right now with Judge staying healthy. Obviously, Stan got hurt. But everything about this Mets team seems sustainable right now. You do work, again, like the injuries is the only thing because that's the one thing they really don't have control of. And that's just an act of God basically occurring to us. But at least we're not dealing with guys outside of Jake that have the, Marte has his little flare-ups, Nimmo too. But other than that, like this team is sustainable. Well, you're watching.
One last thing before I go. I had a feeling that across the league, people don't really want to trade with the Mets, at least big names. I know that Lindor happened the first year of Steve Cohen, but like especially at the trade deadline, I feel like there was something across the general managers where it's like, okay, we'll fill in the pieces and the holes that we have with role players like Sexy Bach, right? and people that we actually need to participate and not and the big names will wait for the offseason for Steve Cohen's wallet. It's fine. Like that's I think the team and the franchise that we're turning into. It's like we're gonna make the fixes and the tweaks along the way, but the big names will come during the offseason. But yeah, boys, I'll leave you with that. 111. Let's fucking go.
LFG, baby.
What would be let's get the boost on the 111 on the sports
on the sports book.
It's gonna be like plus 50,000.
Yeah. I'll get laughed at by Wesley if I ask that, but I am going to ask it nonetheless. That's a good fucking call. The Erasmo crazy man bet. We'll call it. All right, we have our 3 here. We're cutting it off after Kyle too. So we're going to Sky Anderson. What's up, Sky baby? How we feeling right now? How we feeling tonight, baby?
Gentlemen, this is really, really special what's going on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I don't really know how to explain it. I've never had this really happen before. And I want to say that specifically about tonight's game, I've seen a lot of pretty dominant pitching performances across the board as a Mets fan and as a fan of baseball, really. I think this is arguably the most dominant game, at least for the Mets, that I've ever seen pitching-wise.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Phil, you're about my age, right? You're 25, 26 or something. Can you think of, I can even think of the R.A. Dickey one-hitter in 2012 or whatever that was. And I can think of multiple DeGrom one-hitters, Santana's no-hitter, our combined no-hitter, and still something about today was like,
it reminded me of the 2015 series where we just took control of first versus the Nats.
Yeah.
Even though it's like we already have first now,
Right.
it feels like we just took even further control.
It's like, the team itself is just performing at a level that I never really thought possible.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing. It's fantastic.
And cherish every minute of it. Again, like I think we're going to be good every year with Cohen. I think, but I don't know if there's so many stupid things that happen in baseball, breaks, injuries. Enjoy this team for what it is. And that's going for everybody. You know, this team is fucking special, man. And we just watched us shit pumping. That's as much of a shit pumping as you can get without like double digit, runs every single game. It was just all aspects of the game. We outclassed them every single step of the way. It was crazy. It was crazy. All right, give me your number, Sky.
Okay, so I had a question actually. Darren at the beginning of every season, comes up with some ridiculous number. I think this is probably the first. I don't know that number, but I think this is the first season where I think it might be in reach, gentlemen.
Darren's definitely in the mix. I'll have to look up to see.
I think he said over 103.5 last year or something like that, and that was the first year of the '96, which was that was fun. Didn't really work out, but
nope.
The Clem counter would have been on fire this year.
God,
It'd be a million Clem faces. It would have been a sight to see, and we didn't do it this year, and I'm pissed about it because last year was a shit show.
Yeah, well,
102. That was Darren's number. I just looked it up.
Okay, I think we're blowing by 102. Again, 96 wins is 26 and 27 in the next 53 games, which I think is more than achievable.
Definitely.
I really, that's highly conservative to say. I really think that I would like 106. That would be a good number.
106. All right.
That's a big ask. That's a big ask, but it's not undoable.
Not according to everyone else here. Everyone else is saying, we have 110 on the board. I think we're going to have like a 112 at some point.
I'm sure. The thing for me is that I am. So after the Yankees game, I came on and I was pretty pumped up. I had a bit more bombastic energy than I do right now, because right now I just feel really good.
Because you know what?
With no stress, nothing. I just feel great.
This is what it's going to – if we put a little more room between us and the Braves, it's going to feel like that 06 feeling again, except with a better team, because we're just going to have no one behind us. So that's what I'm hoping everyone else gets to experience, because that's the kind of team this is. And again, you should feel like that, because this was the series we told was going to be the one that brought us down to earth, and all it did was just put us a little more distance between us and everyone else. We're going to finish this off with our guy Kyle here. We're putting him in as the closer. Kyle, be careful while you drive. What are you doing calling in right now, young man?
Yo, I was at the game actually today. I don't know if anyone.
How was it? How was City?
It was rocking. Okay, so I don't know if you guys had any other callers. I know you guys were for your post game yesterday. The service at Citi Field absolutely sucks. So I don't know if I'm the first caller from the game today, but
yep, you are.
The DeGrom threw the 6 innings was just insane. The first 17, literally every single 2-strike count, everyone was on their feet. It was the most insane atmosphere I've ever been at a Mets game. And this fucking team is different, dude. I know you guys are asking about everyone about what their numbers are. I don't know what the 86 team was. My dad has been, he raised me as a Mets fan. He was born, he watched the 86 series. But this team, I see lots of similarities between them. And, with me kind of watching them, watching, all the tapes of the 86 team, I see lots of similarities. And I'm thinking whatever number they were at, I think it was like 108, 109 maybe. I'm feeling this team can probably do something real special in October.
And that's all that matters. I mean, the number we're all throwing around, which again, 108 it's a lot when you start actually breaking it down and you think about the September where they're going to probably messing with an expanded roster and figuring stuff out for Buck. It is a lot, but October is all that truly matters.
Right.
And that thing, I imagine during the game today with Jake, there was probably that feeling in the air, the electricity. And when everyone started realizing, holy shit, he's perfect right now. I'm sure that kind of, built it up. But think about this place. I mean, we remember 2015, that place was a fucking zoo. Right. And that was kind of just came out of nowhere. This is a slow, gradual build. And then we're going to just feel like we can win every game. And you're never going to feel out of it because this team, they always answer back, whether it's 8 runs with Taiwan, it's, the Phillies game where they come back in the 9th, or it's just top of the inning. The team scores 2. We come back and score 3 and say, fuck you guys. We're not going away. So what's the number? Do we have a number? Is there you have an official number for us?
I'm going 108.
108. All right. That's the beautiful number.
We're pace right now for like what, 104, 103?
107. I think Tacoma tweeted today.
Oh, okay.
I just looked up because you guys are 109 games in. You're 70 and 39. The 1986 team. Sorry, thank you very much. Baseball Reference 74 and 35 through 109 games. So
that's good.
They were 18 games up this deep into the season. Obviously different. But back in that day, you had 2 divisions as opposed to 3 in each league. But it just shows how good that team was.
Who was in second place at that point?
Give me half a second. I can.
Jesus Christ, 18 up. Was it the Cards?
Chris, while you're on, I actually saw an OG Tigers Scherzer jersey at this field today.
Nice.
If you go to Comerica Park nowadays, that's usually what you see are OG Verlanders, OG Scherzers, OG Trammels, Whitakers. Nobody's rocking an Akil Baddoo jersey right now. No disrespect to Akil, but that's kind of where things are right now. So the NL East that year, it finished with the Phillies, who, let's see, they won it all in 1980. So I think they made the World Series in 83 as well. Don't quote me on that. I think they lost to the Orioles. They finished 21 and a half games back of the Mets. Cardinals in 3rd at 79 wins. And then over in the other division, you had the Astros who won 96 games.
Yeah, the old Mike Scott Astros that was the big series back then, was when they went into Houston, they got into a fight because they were the 86 Mets. But there are series that is kind of you earmark and you talk about, for the rest of the season and then potentially into the playoffs. It goes on the World Series DVD or whatever the fuck we're doing now.
Yeah.
You download it on iTunes or whatever, or you just download it through the Mets website. This was one of those series.
This was one of the games. Yeah, my dad, he texted me. He was just like, "Are you watching the Grom game?" I was just like, I didn't tell him I was even going yet. I didn't want to tell him that I was even there because he was perfect through the first 5. I was just like, and I snapped the pic. I was just like, "Yeah, I'm fucking right here." I was just like, he's just like, "That's insane," and he was just like, "This was one of the best games that you could have gone to for the whole entire year." So
I love it, man. I love it. Well, thanks for giving us a little I like getting the temperature of the stadium because yesterday was a little disappointing, but Max was electric, but I thought it was going to be playoff atmosphere, but I think it was a doubleheader. Everyone with the traffic was fucked up and it was still fun, right? Kind of we the Barstool ballpark was a good vibe and everything, but it wasn't holy shit. Maybe it's because the Mets were actually just comfortably ahead for most of the game. It was actually kind of nice after some of the
everybody was just locked in on the action. There wasn't a lot of back and forth in the past. Those other 2 events, it was you were the game was an afterthought. Everybody was trying to have a good time and get to know each other and stuff. Everybody was just locked in on the game on both games, and that's the way it should be. I love how serious the Mets fans can be. As much as they're idiots on Twitter and they're always screaming and complaining about stuff, like they really do appreciate like quality baseball. And like Phil was there for 12 hours yesterday, like a madman.
Oh,
so,
yeah. We haven't even touched on that. I have
the young man's game.
I have sunburn and shit from that. Like,
I'm telling you, Castellani and Phil are gonna get like it's gonna be the the coaches talk version of ESPN where they have all the different things in the national. We're gonna have like the hardcore baseball head show, and it's gonna be Phil and Castellani just going because I can see Castellani doing 12 hours at Comerica back in the day, the same kind of thing.
Oh no, I mean this year for Miggy's 3000th, we had a double header. I was 8-9 hours at Comerica. That for a team that sucks.
That's like the Surgeon General probably has like warnings about doing something like that at Comerica. Like that's not good for your health,
dude,
man.
my face the next day was patchy as shit, dude. If we're talking sunburn, I mean, I don't tan the way I used to, but yeah.
I just thought of this one, Castellani, before we wrap things up here. It's kind of it's kind of hard to do because the Mets are unique, I think, in terms of their top two and the lineup the way it is. Maybe it's easier to do it. Is there another team in your baseball reference of your brain that you would compare this team to? Is there another team that is like a closest to a doppelganger you can get?
Well, I brought it up. I think the last time I was on was the 2016 Cubs, just in the sense, not so much comparable necessarily in terms of like top to bottom, but just in the sense of culture changers, where it became with that 16 Cubs team. I remember Javi Baez, I think it was on Mother's Day, hit a walk-off home run. I want to say I know exactly.
You're a sick fuck. You know exactly what you're talking about.
You hit a walk-off home run. Blake Trinan hung a slider to Javi Baez on Mother's Day, and he hit a walk-off home run. And I remember thinking, like, they're in it now. Like, if there is a Cubs team that's different, it's this team. And I remember that moment came with you guys in that Phillies comeback in May, where I'm like, this feels different. If I go top to bottom, I mean, there's differences there, but just I think in terms of being a complete team, that's kind of the one that stands out to me in terms of comparing them. And I think the one thing that team did well that you guys also do well is you are a modern baseball team in the fact that you do hit for power, but I think that there's certain guys that go kind of against the analytics grain in the way that you saw it this weekend, where just put the ball in play, go first to third, test guys' arms. I think that as big of an analytics guy as I am, I think that we've gotten so far in one direction that we ignore like the fact that stuff does matter. Like, don't strike out all the time, put the ball in play, go first to third, test people's arms. So that's the one that comes to mind right away. I'm sure tomorrow when I wake up, I'll think of like 4 or 5 different answers, but just off the top of my head, that's the one that stands out.
That's beautiful. And kind of like Kyle said, with the Mets fans just being different, and we're going to these Barstool watch parties, and they're cheering when Nimmo is fouling off pitches in the first inning. They're cheering like he just got a base hit. And again, it's that kind of everything Brandon Nimmo does is the kind of stuff that could get overlooked by people that don't follow.
I gotta say, if I'll only, and I'm being generous, only if you guys win the World Series this year, can we have Brandon Nimmo, please?
So I'm trading the World Series for Brandon Nimmo. That's a deal, Chris. You have yourself a deal there, fella.
Because you're going to try to dish out the money for Judge. So if we get Nimmo as a console, and that's not a consolation because I love Brandon Nimmo. I love the way he plays. But like I like get and don't worry, we're not going to give him the money. Like we're going to go out, we're going to get some bumfuck outfielder who's going to put up a 500 OPS because that's what Chris Ilitch does. But I love him, man. I think that outfield that you guys got, because that's my best take of the offseason was I said, whoever gets Starling Marte is going to get a big steal. And he's been the man for you guys. So, yeah, I watch him. Like, I want him in right field, left field at Comerica.
I put it on our Instagram before the game today. The Mets are the only team in Major League Baseball that have 5 players that have over 100 hits.
Jeez. Wow.
I mean, it's an unheard of stat for present day baseball. The fact that we have 5 guys that all are over 100 hits, 2 guys that are like usually on or off of 300 the entire way through, like that's impressive in and of itself. So then when you have a guy like Strider going, oh, they're not really grinding out bats, like they're getting lucky and their bats are getting hot at the right time and all this stuff. It's like, no, dude, our guys actually hit for average and put the ball in play. Your guys are the guys who are trying to hit over the fence every single time.
Yep, that's the perfect way to put it, man. Any Kyle, anything else? Any other stats? Anything else? Any other takes from the weekend? I mean, for anyone listening who listens to just the podcast, we did a recap after the doubleheader on Saturday. If you want to go back and kind of get our takes, we I don't know how much we hit on the earlier games. It's been a fucking fog of a 5-game series, but just want to make sure no one has anything else left in the tank here before we head out.
One last note. Before today, the Braves were the only team to not have a 3-game losing streak all season. They just lost 3 in a row to us, so we're responsible for their longest losing streak.
Also, we're 13-0-2 in series and division.
Yep.
Wow, really? All year?
Yep.
Oh shit! All right. I have to put this one up. I don't know how this happened. This was on Twitter. I saw someone else tweet it, but then we got tagged in it, and I don't even know if this is. It has to be real. There's this shirt that someone found in the JFK airport.
Oh,
it says Francisco Lindor hits for the cycle, and this is on May 1st, 2021, and it says single, double, triple, home run. So it's
he
saying
went
just like
3 that day.
He went over 3, I believe, with a run. I don't know how this shirt is real, let alone possible. But Castellani is our fucking baseball reference guy, and I think I see his brain slowly breaking as he's looking at this shirt.
Well, I have so many questions. I feel like I would have remembered. He did not hit for the cycle at any point last year.
Nope. The Mets had their first cycle in 10 years by Eduardo Escobar this season.
Right, against the Padres. I was watching that. He finished it with a triple.
They broke the baseball robot. We broke him. Broke him.
I mean, I think it's I'm baffled because I think it's the greatest scam of all time because you know that you said that was at an airport.
The JFK airport, apparently. I don't know if it's Hudson News or somewhere like that, but yeah, that's.
Here's my theory on this. Just a theory, is that somebody, because it was less expensive, somebody printed those shirts after the Escobar cycle. And said, somebody's going to come in here. Like, there's a very famous, and Clem, you might know this. There's a very famous film studio called The Asylum that does these ripoffs of popular movies. Like, instead of Transformers, they made Transmorphers and, like, Snakes on a Train and shit like that. So I think they expected somebody's going to come to JFK Airport and buy a Eduardo Escobar cycle t-shirt, not knowing that it says Francisco Lindor on it, and we're going to make some money off of it. Because that should not be in commission because it didn't happen.
It's some Mandela shit where it's like, did this happen? Are you guys fucking with me? What's the movie? Is it Shazam for Sinbad or is it Kazam? It's one of those two. I know, it never really happened. But yeah, everyone's like, Francisco Lindor never hit for this. In May, I don't think he even hit the baseball for like the first month of the season for us. So it's just one of those random things that kind of just popped up. If anyone goes to the JFK airport, pick that up. I will venue the money. I will, I'm good for it. Don't even worry. Like the biggest size they have. And if it's too small for me, I'm going to frame it because it's a relic. It needs to be it belongs in a museum in the great words of one Indiana Jones. It's like even the fact, like, why would you print a shirt that says player X hit for this cycle? It's such a weird thing to wear out in public. Like, what are you doing?
For the record, in order to hit for the cycle, obviously you need 4 hits, right? In May of last year, Francisco Lindor did not have a 3-hit game.
Oh, yeah, man. The Lindorks were feasting, man. Those were dark times for us. We were fucking fighting the good battle against all the Lindorks. So JFK, Hudson News stand is what I'm told. So if anyone wants to get this fucking thing, it looks like there's about 1, 2, 3, maybe 3 left. So maybe after today, there might be 1 left because I know it was getting some requests on Twitter. Phil goes, this fucking shirt. Yep, this shirt it's just as much of a part of this magical season as everything else. But I want to thank everyone for calling in. Big Pete and Tyler, I got to get you guys on next time. We got some big boys here. That's the Vogelback and Darren Ruff combo. Subscribe if you're watching.
Want a real Lindor shirt, actually autographed by the player.
There you go. Autographed Francisco Lindor jersey. All you have to do is subscribe on the YouTube channel. We're picking the winner at 5,000. So don't say, all right, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it the next day. We're moving. The numbers are moving up. Once we hit 5,000, boom, it's cut off. And we're making the thing. So you get yourself a Francisco Lindor autographed, authentic jersey. Chris, you're our baseball reference guy. Based on the numbers he's putting up, is Francisco Lindor good?
Francisco Lindor is great, and he was never bad. He had 2 bad months. Francisco Lindor is probably going to end up being a Hall of Famer one day, like the trajectory he's on. Like what he was doing in Cleveland, what he's doing now. I mean, part of it was he just murdered us when he was in Cleveland against Detroit. I've always loved Frankie. I think he's awesome. Yeah. So yes, to answer, I always ramble. To simplify it, Francisco Lindor is very good. He's
so
always
if you're listening on the podcast, go on YouTube. If you want to, if you have a Google account, you have a Gmail account, you have a YouTube account, you just do that. Subscribe there. You have another Gmail account because you wanted to have a professional one. Subscribe there. Castellani, you could fucking subscribe for this. Barstool employees can win it. You subscribe as much as you want. I'd love to have you get the Lindor jersey. Everyone, subscribe. Next watch party, August 23rd against the New York Yankees. It's going to be a very interesting night, especially if we have some enemies in the crowd. Next Barstool the Ballpark is September 17th. Pittsburgh Pirates. I said about 3 months ago that's the date we clinched the National League East. So there's your Clemstradamus take of the day. So next series is the Reds. Not going to do a Reds preview. Just don't have it in me right now. Do we face Luis Castillo? No, we don't. He is not on the Cincinnati Reds anymore. So that's a beautiful thing.
No, are you facing the guy who got drafted by
Justin Dunn? Yep, we got Justin Dunn.
Yeah,
first round pick, and what was it? 16.
16.
Yep.
16.
Yeah, I love Justin Dunn. I blogged about him. He had like a bunch of gold chains. What's he, St. John's?
Boston College.
Boston College. Yep, that's right. That's right. So I loved him. Bassett Dunn, Carrasco Minor, and then Mike Minor, by the way, 1-8, 6.19 ERA.
He's a gas can, dude. He's got like over like 2.5 home runs per 9 right now. Like, yeah.
Oh, Jesus. And then Wednesday, it's a day game, 110. Taijuan Walker versus TBD. Hopefully Taijuan's good. That's a big start just to see if he's healthy.
Yeah.
I hope he's smart. I hope Buck can get in his ear and be like, dude, listen, you're not going to want to fuck up your free agency if you're hurt now. Like, you have to think big picture with this, let alone for the team. And then we have an off day on Thursday, followed by the Philly series this weekend, which first 2 games, Max Scherzer, Jacob deGrom. So that's what the Philadelphia Phillies are going to have to be dealing with. We have the off day on Thursday, and I think they said they're resting Lindor on Wednesday, so he gets 2 days off because they said he just keeps playing, and he's played through the fractured finger. Pete plays a shitload too. So our 2 leaders are leading right now. So no matter, even if there's a speed bump tomorrow, just remember these fucking 5 games, 4 or 5 especially. Gotta believe.
Gotta believe.
Gotta believe.
Hey, Clem.